evening, Springfield. Welcome to the February 9th, Township of Springfield Planning Board meeting. Adequate notice has been given in accordance with the Sunshine Law. Notice was published on December 12th in the Star Ledger, which is the official newspaper of the Township of Springfield for 2025 and 2026, and posted in the Annex Building on December 12th, 2025. Let's do a salute to the flag. Okay, let's do a roll call.
Mayor Harris Lawfer,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Alex Kaiser,
He's en route.
Mr. David Barnett. Former Mayor, Mr. David Barnett.
Here.
Mr. Richard Cedarquist. Here. Ms. Julie Tomeo. Here. Mr. Scott Wishna.
Here.
Mr. Kenneth Corn.
Here.
Mr. Kevin Ferrara. Vice Chair Aaron Loffer.
Here.
And Chairman Jeff Tiger.
Here.
We have a full quorum.
Okay, good news. Everybody's here, except for the record, Alex will be here shortly, so if he's close, we will delay the application a few moments. Okay, so we have meeting minutes from December 2025. Can I entertain, everyone had an opportunity to read them on the Google Drive? Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adopt the 2025 December meeting minutes?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the December 2025 and January 2025.
We're going to separate that because of different, only because of the,
I'm going to do the December 2025 minutes.
can I, anyone second? Any opposed? Can we, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, good. Motion passes. Let's do it for the January 2026 meeting minutes. This way, everyone could vote.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the January 2026 Planning Board minutes.
Any second? Anyone against? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, passes. Perfect. All right, so we have a resolution for all of our professionals for 2026 that outlines them of their terms and duties and responsibilities. That was on the Google Drive. Did anyone have a chance to review it? Any questions or concerns? None? Any questions or concerns? I think Mr. Corn wants to make a motion. You want a second? Can we have a roll call?
Mr. Corn. Yes. Mr. Ferrara. Mayor Lawfer.
Yes.
Barnett.
Yes.
Sorry, Vice Chair Aaron Lawfer.
Yes.
Mr. Cedarquist.
Yes.
Mrs. Mayo.
Yes.
Ms. Wishna.
Yes.
And Chair Tiger.
Yes. Okay. So we have an application. Okay. So let's do some housekeeping things. First off, for our next meeting is March 9th. You walking in? Okay, good. So I don't have to stall it much longer. Okay, our next meeting is March 9th. Mr. Disco, do you want to give us a quick minute or two update on some of the projects like that have been, like I saw Bottle King was completed. We had the Ugly Dumpling, which just got approved. Has any site work been completed? Gomes, just under a minute. What's pressing?
So Bottle King is open. They've been open for a couple of months now. They did, as you recall, the entire front parking lot was repaved, and they did landscaping, and they dressed up the sign. The Gomes project is creeping towards a completion. Really haven't had much activity while the snow's been on the ground. Ugly Dumpling, or U-Dumpling, was approved by this board. They've filed for building permits, and they've submitted sign applications. One of the resolution conditions was signs conforming to the ordinance, and they've done that.
Great. Okay.
Any other particular ones you
No,
want?
I think that was good. Okay, so let the record reflect that Deputy Mayor Kaiser just joined. He's in the other room. He's walking over. So let's do the first applications, which is Ridge Apartments LLC, doing business as Gateway Manor, and that's going to be the new name. We're going to be calling it Gateway Manor going forward. Correct? This is 10.2025S, which is 597 Morris Avenue, Block 505, Lot 1. This is for preliminary and final site plan, bulk variance, residential development. So, Counselor, I understand you have three witnesses, engineer, architect, and we'll go with the traffic expert. So we'll have three witnesses tonight, correct?
Correct.
Floor is yours. Let's,
All right, Chair, thank you for your time. This is the application of, first of all, Joseph Wenzel, Friend Wenzel, 975 Clifton Avenue, Clifton, New Jersey, on behalf of the applicant, Ridge Apartments, doing business as Gateway Manor. Everything will be signed and indicated as Gateway Manor for everybody's information. It's for a property of 597 Morris Avenue at literally and figuratively the gateway to Springfield on the border with Milburn Ave. As the chairman indicated, I have three witnesses tonight. I have our engineer, Michael Lanzafama, who I'm going to bring up at this point, Chair, and start the presentation. So, Mike, and we'll get him sworn in and qualified. Don't know who he is.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. My name is Michael Lanzafama. That's Lanzafama. I'm a licensed professional engineer, land surveyor, and planner, licensed in the state of New Jersey. I'm a principal with the firm of Casey and Keller Incorporated, 258 Main Street, Millburn, New Jersey. All my licenses are current, and I've testified before this board on numerous applications in all three capacities.
great. I don't see anyone have an issue with making him an expert witness? No. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. As Mr. Wenzel pointed out, the property in question is Block 505, Lot 1, 597 Morris Avenue here in Springfield. It's on the southeast corner of the intersection of Baltusrol Way and Morris Avenue. It's the former site of the Scotty's Restaurant, Bar, Comedy Club, whatever you'd like. Building is now gone. And the proposal now is to redevelop the property with inclusionary housing for senior citizens age 55 and older. The property itself is approximately 0.83 acres in size, which is consistent with the requirements of the redevelopment zone. The 597 Morris Avenue redevelopment area is the zoning criteria and the metrics that were used to determine whether or not the application is consistent with the zoning plan of the Township of Springfield. All of the bulk standards as to the lot size, lot width, lot depth are all compliant with the zoning. The property itself would be redeveloped. Let me see if I have my little, I had it a minute ago. I don't know what I did with
Are you moving in,
Just-
55
I
and older?
might be. I might be. So what I have on the easel to my left is a colorized version of the site plan sheet, which has been amended, and I'd like to bring this in as an exhibit, which has been amended as a result of TRC meetings with the municipality's professionals.
So that's A1?
That would be A1,
Do you
correct?
mind marking it A1? Because I believe you have a few extras, so we'll just keep, that's why we can reference it in the resolution. Sorry, Julie, you gotta stare at me the whole time.
Okay. Just to orient you to the site and to the drawing, Morris Avenue is along the bottom of the sheet. Baltusrol Way is to the right. On this particular orientation, north is down the sheet. So north is to the bottom, south is to the top. The building itself would basically be very close to the footprint of the original Scotty's. It's a little bit larger, but approximately in the same location. Its orientation and its main entrance is located right at the intersection of Morris Avenue and Baltusrol Way. The building would have 35 units, senior housing units with an affordable set-aside, And it is a four-story building that's 3 stories of units above the parking area. The parking area is basically at grade with its entrance off of Baltusrol Way as far as possible from the intersection and the light at Morris Avenue and Baltusrol Way. The building would have a total lot coverage of 14,031 square feet, whereas, which is 38.82%, whereas 45% is permitted under the ordinance. The total impervious lot coverage is actually being reduced from what exists today. Currently, it's over 33,000 square feet, 33,090 to be exact, and the new development would result in a coverage of only 32,641 square feet. So you're seeing a slight reduction in impervious area. As a result, you'll see a reduction in stormwater runoff and impacts on the property. Excuse me. The floor area ratio is consistent with the redevelopment plan. 1.4 is permitted under the redevelopment plan. We're proposing 1.36 as a floor area ratio. The number of units dictates the number of parking spaces that are required. Under the residential site improvement standards, you're required to have 1.8 parking spaces for every 1-bedroom unit and 2 parking spaces for every 2-bedroom unit. There are 20 1-bedroom units being proposed and 18 2-bedroom units. So that results in 72 parking spaces. And under the new state regulations, you get a reduction in the required number of parking spaces based upon the number of EV charging stations you provide, up to 10% of the requirement. So the plan initially submitted showed 7 EV spaces. Mr. Disco had asked for 3 more. I neglected to include that on the amended plan, but we would be happy to include 3 more EV-ready spaces on the plan. So you get a 7-car reduction, 10% of the 72 spaces required. So that means that the parking requirement for this building, the number of units and the bedroom distribution we're proposing is 65 spaces.
Can I ask you a question? Is
Certainly.
this going to be public EV spots? I mean, I think Deputy Mayor Kaiser was thinking another app that you brought up. Where, are you publicizing them? Are they
No.
like on the roadmap?
No,
So
these are only for the tenants or the people that live there. The residents of the building would utilize those spaces, that's all. There are 50 standard spaces being proposed for handicap. We also have 6 compact spaces located on the east side of the building. We have 7 EV spaces, but as I said, we're going to increase that to 10, giving us a total parking area or total parking capability of 67 spaces. And we picked up 2 more spaces in the back corner where we eliminated the dog park that we had on the original plan. What we also do is we increase the number of handicap spots that are located near the main entrance by restriping the area a bit. So we picked up 1 more handicap spot without losing any spaces. I think that's really important for the application to make sure we have sufficient parking. Excuse me. The building will generate additional sewer flow and water demand, but nothing that triggers any type of treatment works approval by the DEP. We will agree to the I&I reduction suggestions made in Mr. Disco's memo, that is replacing of some of the manhole covers that tend to flood and bring in unwanted inflow and infiltration into the system. So we'll do that to make sure that we do not cause the municipality to exceed their current sewer flows in their system. Excuse me. Water is readily available, and so we don't anticipate that to be an issue of any sort. let me just switch exhibits now. This is A2, what I'm marking as A2 is our landscaping plan. And this is sheet number 8 in your plan set. However, again, it has been modified based upon some suggestions that we received during the TRC, excuse me. So the landscaping plan and the elements of the redevelopment plan was very focused on streetscape, and we were very cognizant of that. And our landscape architect took great measures to create a special environment around the street frontages. We've added some benches, we've added bike racks and benches along Baltusrol and Morris Avenue. We've provided some street trees in those areas, foundation plantings to enhance the building's appearance.
Check with the, our township, what's the,
Arborist?
bid for, to keep the colors of the streetscape?
We have to do that yet, about the Business Improvement District, I think it was.
That would be part of your work.
We want to get the same downtown vibe that you have in the center of town here at this intersection. So we're going to be doing that, maybe adjusting some of the types of pavement patterns or type of materials being used on the sidewalk.
Mr. Disco, can you oversee that?
Not a problem.
Actually, if we match it currently, we'd be there. Little joke, but like not also a joke.
Okay. The landscaping, we put some shade trees in the parking area, and we've kind of bordered ourselves along the residential property that exists to the south with a row of 7 to 8 foot high arborvitae, along with a 6 foot high solid fence.
What is the spacing between the two? Screenage you have done?
The arborvitae, they're about 5 to 6 feet, so they'll grow and create a solid hedge that'll be year-round. And
So that will be either the homeowners association, if
correct.
it's a sale, or the property management if it's a rental.
That is correct. And what we have done is when we eliminated the dog park, we added some more arborvitae to shield out the southeast corner, and we've added another shade tree back in that area to enhance that environment a little bit more. There's existing vegetation that's substantial to the south. Adjoining us to the east is basically like a car dealership, used car dealership. So there's not much to screen out there, but we still have a fence, a solid fence. The to make, due to the unusual configuration of this back finger, we had to reduce the width of the driveway to 23 feet so we could maintain the minimum 3-foot setback along the southern property line. That's a de minimis exception that's required under the residential site improvement standards. The way the property is configured, we don't see that as an issue. Thank you very much. We don't see that as an issue, that that could be handled easily. The vehicles that move in and out of that area are probably not going to be used all that frequently. They're on the remote side of the site. So we anticipate that that could be granted without any substantial detriment to the operation.
Mike, any concern with that, with the de minimis exception?
No, the finger that Mr. Lanzafama was referencing is only 45 feet wide. So what's typically, you have an 18-foot parking stall depth, 24-foot two-way aisle is 42. We required in the redevelopment plan a 3-foot setback for the landscaping, which makes much more sense. So when you add it all up, you lose 1 foot, and so basically you've got to get the 23-foot access aisle there. And that was preferable to the subcommittee members when we had discussed it early on at one of the first subcommittees. Maximizes the buffer.
Makes sense. So you guys are
Right.
comfortable with
You don't have parking on the opposite side, so as Mr. Lanzafama has indicated, probably your least trafficked section of it. It just, the reality is you're just 1 foot short on the property dimension to make it all work, so.
Yes, to what Mike said, you know, you're maximizing the parking setback on the south side where that resident is, the 3 feet. So you're just losing a foot to make sure that maximizing that setback for that resident on the south side. So I see no issue with it.
Okay. Now, there is a variance required for the setback on the north side of that same finger. We have 1 foot proposed where 3 feet is required. This is not an exact continuation of an existing condition. The existing condition is about 1.5 feet, so we're only losing about 6 inches, and that's adjacent to the used car dealership. So that's the area right along here. So we would be asking for a variance. In my mind, this could actually fall under both the C1 and C2 criteria. C1 because of the unusual configuration of the property and the improvements that exist thereon. And the second being C2, the benefit of having an area with sufficient parking and proper maneuverability area certainly outweighs any detriments associated with the lost buffer. Given the fact that it's a commercial use immediately adjacent to us, I don't see that as a significant impact on the adjoining property or the intent and purpose of your zone plan or any detriment to the public good.
No issue at all, no.
Now, one thing I'd like to bring up is that when we added the 2 additional parking spots, 90% is the allowable allowable impervious coverage limitation. When we added those 2 parking spots, it actually went slightly over. It's 90.3%, which is about 115 square feet. It's still well below what was existing. Exactly, that's.
Dave, do you agree with that?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman.
We'll open up to the board for questions, but I think the benefits of having the additional spots outweigh the .3.
Exactly, that was my argument, thank you. I think basically we have Mr. Disco's memorandum of February 4th. We have no issues in making modifications suggested therein. We also have Harbor Consulting's February 6th memo, and we see no issue with those comments as well.
Okay, I know the police department wanted Title 39.
Title 39, yeah.
Correct, Chairman. The applicant would consent to Title 39.
Perfect. And then did you, when we had the fire chief or deputy chief, whatever his title is, nice guy, he said he wanted a copy of the plans where everything turns and works?
Yeah, we provided a vehicle turning template on Friday afternoon, I believe. Jennifer distributed it this morning.
Is that good?
We haven't heard back, I think, from the fire chief yet.
I spoke to Michael Mastroni today, who's our deputy fire chief or fire captain, and he said it's fine. Again, they displayed the turning movements into the site and within the traffic aisles of the site. They're not going under the building. They would never park within a fall zone, so they were comfortable with the access to the site.
Perfect, okay. Great. Did they give, go back to the police chief, did he give any information? We can save it for the traffic expert, come up with accidents or any information?
We got a tally list of the accidents over the last couple of years for that general area there.
Okay, so
I tried to highlight them without mention the word Baltus Roll as opposed to Morris Turnpike or Milburn Avenue.
All right, so we'll talk about that, but at least you have that. Okay, perfect.
All right, that was basically my testimony. I tried to provide you with proofs for the variances being sought.
And the landscaping plan was given? That
Yes.
was in accordance with our discussion. Mike, did you
That is
review that
correct.
too? With the additional?
Yes, the landscaping plan added a tree at the southeast corner, added the arborvitaes. It touched up some discrepancies on the schedule. It does need to add the 2-year maintenance aspect of it. Minor thing, can be a condition or resolution compliance.
Right.
As far as landscaping, I think that summed up the landscaping changes.
I think we also talked that if there were any additional landscaping, if you feel that it was necessary.
Right.
Through, plantings, that there needed to be 1 or 2 more near the transformer area, that was.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Anything
Okay.
further? Then I'll open up
I
questions to the
have
board.
nothing further.
Ken? No. Mr. Wishner?
said these were amended plans. When were they amended?
We amended them after our TRC meeting Friday morning. We submitted them via email back to Ms. Law late in the afternoon on Friday.
So
These
was
are-
that in our packet, the amended plans?
Yes.
It was, okay. That was my question, all right.
Is there a snow removal plan?
There's what?
Is there a snow removal plan?
If
Not-
I can,
Go ahead.
yeah, snow. Right, snow, obviously, it's a very small site, snow will have to be removed off-site so that we maintain the parking. The property maintenance will be handled by the applicant.
And is there a difference whether or not there's a homeowners association or a management company in terms of maintenance?
No, it would just basically devolve to the homeowners association, same responsibilities. Obviously, this, as I said before, Mayor, this site is one which you don't have available location to push snow, especially from the one we just had. So the snow has to be removed off-site, but with the spaces we do have underneath the building, that will kind of cut a little bit down on that, but snow will be removed off-site.
I didn't even know that was up there.
Yeah, it was all up there the whole time.
Richard?
You're proposing new fences along the,
Correct. All new fencing around the property.
Not white,
Not white,
not white.
not white. They're solid, probably a beige color.
Personal distaste, sorry. White vinyl's the worst.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a solid fence though, not.
A solid,
yes.
that's correct.
No chain link.
If we did a white, it would stand out.
What we do have, I don't know if this shows up there, but along Baltusrol at the main entrance, we are gonna have like a decorative wrought iron type fence with some pillars to kind of dress up the entrance a bit.
Can you touch base on the lighting?
Sure. Yeah, we're using LED type lighting fixtures. I don't know, can you go to another slide? Ken? Sheet number 7, I believe.
The original?
Of the plan set, the full plan set.
Mike, you reviewed the lighting plan, correct?
Yeah, the redevelopment plan enumerates lighting standards, minimum or average light values for pedestrian and drive areas, and they meet those topics. But he can describe how it's being lit.
Yeah, you're getting there, that's good. So you could see, there you go, perfect. So we have several light fixtures along that southern boundary line, one near the house, you can see the hatched area for the house. But what's really great about these LED fixtures, you can have zero cutoff, and you can totally shield the light source, so that would not have a negative impact on that property owner. And if you were able to see those foot candle levels, there's a series of dots with foot candle values. You're at zero right by the house. So you have no spillage onto the adjoining property, and it properly illuminates the parking area. And then what you can do, because this is a residential property, you may have people coming home late at night. These LED fixtures can be reduced to 50% after 10 p.m. So it's even less of an impact, but still provides adequate light for people to move in and out.
So let's, maybe, I think a good idea, since this is a site, maybe Mr. Disco can go out at a certain point in time once it's functional, and then you guys can work something out.
Sure.
If it needs to be adjusted.
If it's necessary, yeah.
Were they controlled from like an iPhone, iPad, or is it?
No, you can time it, you can program it, you can program all the fixtures to go off at a certain hour, or dim down to a certain hour, and come back up if there's motion sometimes.
Okay, I think a good condition of approval, Mr. Disco will visit the site once it's fully operational and see if it needs to be increased, brought down, so this way the neighbors aren't affected.
Yeah, we have, on the building, we have some sconces and things along Morris Avenue and Baltusrol to kind of illuminate the building, and it really creates a nice enhanced image of the building and the streetscape.
Great. Kevin? Great. Yeah, well,
That's the
let the
architect.
architect.
Let the architect answer that one.
The only other question I had before we open up to our professionals is, are you gonna go over signs?
I was not.
Architects and okay, great. Gabe, anything?
Mr. Lonzavanfa, just for the record, you're not proposing any streetlights for Morris or Baltusrol, right?
That is correct.
Okay, and you're gonna have sconces on the building itself, and do you think that's sufficient to provide illumination for the sidewalks?
I do.
Okay. No other questions?
Just confirm, the site plan shows no ground signs, correct?
That is correct.
Unanticipated.
Other than traffic control signs.
Right. And if there's a building mounted sign, the architect will discuss that.
That's correct.
Okay.
Great.
Oh, hold on, just give me a second.
But wait, there's more.
For the members of the public, the way that we're gonna do this is, there is 3 witnesses that they have. We're gonna let all 3 witnesses come up, and then you'll have an opportunity to ask questions of each of the witnesses and make statements to the board. So, well, instead of you coming up each and every time, this way it'll give you an opportunity to hear everything and see if some of your questions are answered. But everyone will have an opportunity to talk.
Just want to put on the record, whether it's Mr. Lanzafama or somebody else, if there's a generator planned and where that would be.
Is there a generator plan?
That's a good question. Do we have a generator?
Nothing was shown when we discussed it.
No, not at this time.
And if there would be a generator, so just to be clear, our ordinance, and I know this for a fact, because you're up against residential, you will have to come back before the planning board.
Correct.
If you weren't touching residential and you were in a different area, you wouldn't have to come back, but you will have to come back for a site plan if you end up putting a generator.
Understood.
Is that correct, Mr. Disco?
That's correct, yeah.
Because it's touch-
Again, we're just concerned that when it's not shown on the site plan that we're reviewing now, suddenly it could be in a very disadvantageous location. It's gonna be very visible perhaps and create noise.
You guys should consider if you're gonna do it, but you would have to come, at this point in time, unless, if you didn't finish time and carried, you'd have to re-notice and put in for it anyway. So
Understood.
it is what it is.
Just touching on the EV, if the board members recall what happened with Congregation Israel, we requested that they not have public spaces. Because, same thing here, if you have 10 EVs, everybody decides it's cheaper here than at the Wawa, suddenly you're gonna have a parking problem here and you have obviously more
So it
traffic.
has to be excluded from anything.
It just seems prudent to make this private. It's for the benefit of the people that'll live there. Could always rethink it in the future, but I think.
No, I think it should be a condition of approval, and if it becomes an issue the other way, and you
That's
feel
our
like-
desire.
Great, so that'll be a condition of approval. Go ahead.
I missed this when
No,
we
it's
were
okay.
doing during the subcommittee conversations, we talked about the existing bus stop.
Yes.
Can you just educate the rest of us
Julie.
regarding protecting it during construction? I know it's obviously the existing.
Yeah, right. We would have to,
You do sidewalk work,
right.
we need to be able to maintain it.
Yeah, we have to work with DOT on that and with New Jersey Transit, obviously. Typically, what we do is we fence off the area to make sure that there's no construction activity that would block people from gaining access to the bus stop. We'd have to create a pedestrian access plan is what we typically do for New Jersey Transit, and we would do that here on this application as well. You're welcome.
Can we talk about recruiting and the look of the bus stop?
That you'd have to talk to New Jersey Transit. We have no,
If we're going
Okay.
to talk about cleaning up a portion of our section, and I have not walked past that in a long time. I don't know what the quality of that bus stop is at this present moment in time.
I think it's consistent with
Could
the vibe.
you do Google
I don't
Earth
think
on
it's
that?
just a post,
Yeah.
I think.
Go to Google Earth.
There is, there's something.
Oh, you got a picture, Mike?
I have, wasn't, the shot wasn't to get the bus stop, but you can see it there. Bus shelter, excuse me.
They are proposing nice places to sit along the building and all, which would be nicer than what's there now.
No, exactly, so is it something that we can potentially discuss to, look down the road and clean up? I mean, I know on Morris Avenue, it's not a typical bus stop in front of the food store. Maybe we can talk about, making
You were there.
improvements to.
I know.
You got it.
I just don't want an old bus stop if we're improving the rest of the area, and then we have like an old shelter
Almost there, Jim.
that is out of whack.
Oh, you're almost there.
Just scan, just move your mouse.
If we're gonna put all this work into cleaning that up,
attorney.
Right? I don't.
Keep going.
Go a little
You can do it, Jen.
It's her fat fingers.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, fits the vibe.
So it's actually in front of the car deal. Well, it's right on,
Is that
it's
your
right on the
property?
property.
Might not be your problem.
Right on the
I don't
property.
think that's your problem.
Well, that's the Scotty's parking lot currently, so,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's their property.
Yeah, that's our property. That's our property.
Building gets wider anyway.
Yeah.
So where is the seating that you have in relationship to that shelter? So we didn't see that on your other.
Yeah, it's to get.
Well, I guess we just talk to the architect about that.
Okay, we may need you again, but let's go to the architect.
Sure.
Well, Julie.
No questions. No questions.
Okay.
No questions.
Okay, thank you, Julie. I'm so sorry. Good catch.
No
Okay.
worries.
Okay, so let's go to the architect. I want to talk.
So you can do anything you want with it. It's not specifically for.
yeah, I agree.
All right, let's,
I agree with you. 100%. 100%.
okay, so let's keep that for the end. Okay, go ahead.
Could you,
He's gonna swear you in, 'cause
raise your
we
right
have
hand?
Never seen you before, so this is a longer process.
You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Can you please state your name for the record, spell your last name?
My name is Jonathan Kabita, architect. Last name is Kuybida.
Counsel, would you like to, what do you witness?
John, why don't you give the board the benefit of briefly of your qualifications, your education, and your licensing?
Sure. I hold a Master's of Architecture from NJIT in the year of 2009. My license is in good standing. I have appeared before boards in Tenafly, Wayne, New Jersey, Bridgewater, and Orange in the last year and a half or so. I work at Jarmel Keisel Architects and Engineers. My position is Director of Architecture.
To practice in architecture in the state of New Jersey, that license is current and up to date, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I submit, John, for the purposes of testimony in the field of architecture. If I could pronounce your name correctly, I would say it. Kubiyaya.
Kabita.
Kabita. Gave
My
you too many
entire
vowels.
life, I've been getting it wrong, so
Yeah.
it's quite all right. I'm used to it.
John K.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, I think
Okay.
no one has any concerns. Now, we'll accept it.
Okay, thank you.
These are the better pictures.
These are the pictures, capital T-H-E.
All right, so let's review. Go ahead.
The last page, which would show the rendering, if you don't mind. There we go. Okay.
Getting it wrong is easy.
The proposed project consists of 38-unit multifamily residential building. We have 20 one-bedroom units and 18 two-bedroom units. It is a new four-story structure designed as an age-restricted for residents age 55 years and older. The development will comply fully with the state's uniform housing and affordability control requirements. It is situated at the gateway to the township. The building is envisioned as a high-quality addition to the streetscapes that the residents can take pride in. The fourth floor has been designed thoughtfully and is integrated into the building's roof line, effectively minimizing the visual impact and helping the structure appear lower in height. That's what you see in the rendering before you.
Show us the sides from the residential they would see too.
Yes, so that would be on SD 102, I believe. Yes. This would be on SD 104, the bottom drawing, which is the left side elevation or the east elevation. So you would see this.
There's no color rendering?
I don't have colored renderings of the sides, no. So this drawing, this particular drawing, I have not revised. The only thing I did to it was remove any color from it.
The colors didn't match.
Yeah, the colors didn't come out correct, but
I will
John,
state that.
before you had showed the rendering, there was certain colorization from the streetscape from the corner of Morris and Baltusrol. I think the chairman's question is, if you were standing on the other side as you were walking up Baltusrol, would those be the same type of colors and same type of materials, similar type of, you'd have the same visual scape, you wouldn't have a different colorization on the other side?
That is correct, and I misunderstood the question. Yeah, we're using the same high-quality materials around the entire building, all 4 facades, so.
Did you bring any of the materials?
I did bring a few.
Do you mind bringing, yeah, so that way the board can see it, because that's important. So obviously, it's our intention that this is what you're showing that you're using. If there runs an issue like this color's not available when you go to order it, you'll have to go back to the TRC just to get their blessing.
Well, yeah, we anticipate in resolution compliance to, you know, what we're showing tonight is representative of what we intend on using, and obviously, we don't control availability, as the chairman knows, but we'll certainly work with Mr. Disco and whoever else at the township with regard to the finalization of the materials.
We mark each one.
Okay.
If that's the case, we can't, then Jen can take pictures, and that way we can put them or something.
Okay. Had them glued on the board, but they just kept falling apart, so.
It's all right.
Okay, so this would be the brick that a color variation that we plan on using.
That's A3?
A3. I don't have a Sharpie. Do you have a Sharpie? Mark it A3.
Okay,
so
so
that's
that's
the
the brick.
Here we go. Okay, so that would be the brick, and then on the base of the building, we have a combination of like a cast stone. So this would be like a thin veneer, you know, we try to be about 1 inch thick. Same thing with the brick, we're gonna make that like a thin veneer. And it's gonna be a high quality thin veneer, so the corners, anywhere there's a joint, you know, you won't, it's gonna be high quality, and we're gonna have high craftsmanship, so it'll look identical to full brick.
So that is like A4?
That'd be, yes. As you'll see in the rendering, especially in the corner, you know, there's a slight tonal variation, so that's what those two
Is that a
samples.
stone material or a concrete?
It's a precast concrete, looks exactly like a stone. And then I also have a few other samples. I have a cementitious plank siding and the panel siding. So trying to remove these. I don't know about these. These aren't coming off.
Yeah, well, we'll just pass,
We'll pass that along. I also have where the metal canopies are along the first floor. So starting all the way in the back left corner, we have a canopy that extends, and then on either side of those 3-4-story brick structures, we have canopies. They're like 5-foot overhangs. So the overhang would have this. It's not black, it's like a dark brown, and that would also be in the front in the corner where it says Gateway Manor. That would also have the brown. And I also
Mr.
have.
Disco, is this consistent, Gabe, with what you guys have reviewed? With the material?
I believe it is based upon past renderings that went before the TC, but there's a slight variation of the shade, I can't tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah, of course. The directionally it has
I also have an example of the shingle roof that's going to go on the 4th floor as well.
Okay. That's the roof.
Yes.
Okay, so you showed us the building, layouts. From a residential standpoint, you're looking on Baltusrol Way, this look in these colors are what's on the back.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Rendering.
Can you describe to the residents, if you go back to that thing, what they're gonna look at? Because remember, 8 feet high is, or 9 feet high is the underneath parking, whatever that might be. So what they're gonna see is like the underneath, well, obviously there's the 6 to 8 foot arborvitae's, but if someone was, further down, what are they gonna see? Give them an idea of what it is. Look at 'em.
Okay. So on the canopies, those canopies are about 9 feet in height, but going around the back of the building, specifically, so we have a 15-foot ground floor to the 2nd floor. It's 15 feet in height. Allow 2 feet for structure, so 2 to 3 feet. So you can comfortably drive 12 feet underneath the building. So it'll allow for various trucks and vehicles to be able to turn around in the parking lot. And then all the materials that you see here are consistent on all 4 sides. And moving back to the Baltusrol and Morris Ave, it's all going to be high-quality material. We're going to have a series of benches, the landscaping that Mike had described. It's going to be very consistent with this image that you see here. It's a way to really enhance and beautify this area of downtown. And although it's not depicted here, the brick pavers will be on the sidewalks. So it's just a real strong statement to the streetscape, to the building. It's all integrated, and I think it's something that we all could be proud of. And additionally, this is a 4-story building. We did our best to really try visually reduce the height. So the 4th floor is built into that roof, and you see like these roof dormers. And then in that corner, we have a 3-story element with a roof. It kind of, I call it an octagon, but it's really a 6-sided structure. So it's a good way to anchor that corner. So as you come down Milburn Ave, it's just a building. It makes a strong statement, and it's, people say, "What building do you live in?" I live in Gateway Manor. It's that place.
Right, so John, there were a number of questions that we had at the TRC, and I know the board had with regard to the signage. Obviously, we have the sign that's at the corner of Morris and Baltusrol, identifying this as Gateway Manor. And you want to talk about that sign and then other signage at the site? I think that was the chairman's question.
All signs comply with the height.
Yeah, so that sign complies with the ordinance. So that sign is 9 square feet. On drawing S102, I believe, I revised it to actually show a sign of the square footage and the dimensions of it.
Will you mark this then? Because you changed
S103, I apologize. The S103, yes.
So is that, you want to mark that S103 as A6, is that what it is?
John, was S103, what we're looking at, that was submitted to the board, correct? There's no,
It was, but because the question about the size of the sign, I decided, let's go ahead and revise this.
okay, so we'll mark that as A6, Chairman.
You said there were 2 signs, or just one?
It's just the one. Previously, over the main entrance, it said 597. I revised it so it matches the rendering.
Anything further? What is your thoughts on the bus stop? So,
Should we go through the interior?
yeah, well,
We're saving that for the end.
you were
Okay.
saving it?
We're saving the bus stop.
Okay.
It's your meeting, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's go through the inside of it.
Okay, thank you. So I will go to, yes, actually, one more? First floor, yes, thank you. So that's SD 101. So the ground floor features a primary entrance to the building, serving as the project's main point of arrival. So the corner of Morris and Baltusrol is just primarily for aesthetics and the architectural presence. Really, the entrance, the occupants of the building will be entering the entrance off the back of the parking lot. In addition to the entrance, the occupants, we also want to have any visitors come there as well.
Just point where the entrances are. I think it's,
It doesn't work on the screen.
Here, I'll flip it, John.
That's the main entrance where the street is, where they have the sign.
Yes.
Yes.
So, but that's the street one. Where do the people enter?
So after they park in the parking lot, they're going to enter here in the back of the building. So this would be underneath. So that's how we envision 99% of the time the occupants would be entering here.
Is that the only entrance besides those only two?
Yeah, centrally located would be the two. And then we also have some doors where there's a loading area back here. So you get an occupant, you get new furniture, and move in, move out. There's loading here. And then you could enter through, which is one of the amenity space is the storage lockers. So each unit would be able to have one. And then, so you park the vehicle here, come in through the corridor, which is about 6 feet in wide, and then you enter into where the elevator is, and then you can go up to the second floor, fourth floor, and, load your furniture.
Can you describe the amenity spaces?
Yes. We also have a gym, which is about 1,000 square feet. There's also a day room here and a multi-purpose room.
So would you say day room?
Yeah, it's a day room.
So what's gonna be in there? Just like chairs, seats?
Exactly. And you can go down there, you can kind of hang out, morning coffee, just really a communal room.
So there'll be some furniture?
Yes, yes, there will be.
You're just gonna do that outline of the furniture's there, or we should call it some furniture? I mean, there should be seating.
I mean, it's wide enough to accommodate it. You may have people working from home or work out of that room. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we want some ability for recreation and stuff, so maybe the two of you come up with some sort of like, we don't need like top-of-the-line furniture there, but some sort of furniture that's there.
Sure, we could do that, yes. Because we envision, outside, there's some activity out there, so maybe some height, bar height stools and chairs and things like that. But we'll come up with something to show the board. What else do we have? I talked about the amenities.
Where's the trash?
The trash is located in the back here, next to the loading area.
Okay, but just hold it, you could definitely ask those questions. So that's a good question. What's the, and Mr. Lanzafama has to answer that, what is the distance between that and the property line? Obviously, there's a fence, there's parking, there's a 23-foot carway.
It's nearly 58 feet to the property line.
58 feet.
Yeah, her house is about another 7 feet away, so you're looking at 65 feet. But this is an enclosed room.
Yeah,
Is it
according to,
enclosed?
I was about
It's
to say.
totally enclosed. It's trash compactor, trash chutes on the upper floors that bring the refuse down. And then the only time the doors are open is when the garbage truck pulls up.
That's my next.
Yeah,
to-
so I just want to be clear, there's no
collect.
outdoor trash.
There is no outdoor trash, no outdoor storage of trash, none whatsoever.
And does each level have a refuse room? Because if they do, I'm not seeing it, I just see a utility room.
You have a recycling room and a refuse room.
That's the utility
That would
room?
allow, yes.
Cool.
You drop the.
Just drop
garbage
it down.
Yep.
So my question for you is the garbage. You always get, it is bordering residential. What time, I hope you're not gonna say it's gonna come 5:30 in the morning, because that would.
We'd have to work it out with the refuse carrier, and we can certainly do that. They usually are always willing to cooperate with potential clients.
Yes, so that will be a condition of approval, that it would have to be, whatever our construction hours are, where people can do, Mike, what is that, 7:30, or is it 7?
If it's during the week, I think you can start at 7 or 7:30 for construction.
That's fine, so it would have to be after 7 or 7:30, Mike can give you the time, and no later than.
Construction can go, I mean, noise standards change at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I
So
mean,
we'll have to make it, well, the board will have to talk about a time, but it'll have to be a reasonable 7 PM, you know, type of thing. But it's not beeping and keeping the residents up.
Understood.
So we'll have to come up with that in our discussion.
Okay.
As a practical matter, I think they're gonna come when there's the least amount of vehicles that impede their quick pickup.
They're gonna come when it fits their schedule best.
But they're gonna have to contract that it's not 5:30 in the morning, because that's unacceptable.
That's something we've done in the past.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll have to come up like, it's gotta be after 7:30 and then no later than 5:30 or something. During the day makes sense, because there's less cars there, it's easier for them. But, like as the mayor said, they're gonna wanna come when it's better for their schedule, so we're gonna have to put some constraints on that. So we can keep
Where are the stairwells? How many stairwells are there?
We have 2 stairwells.
Where are they?
So,
It's hard to see from here.
so I have, they're located on either sides of the building. We have 2. So down at this end, the left side of the building here, and then where the elevator shaft is, we also have another stair. So for a building this size is code compliant, it's typical to have 2 stairwells.
One elevator shaft, right?
And 1 elevator, yes.
Entrances to the doors, are those gonna be locked, or are those gonna be, are the residents going to have either a key fob or an entrance key to get in? And
Yes.
primarily more of the sidewalk facing.
Absolutely. It'll have controls on it.
Okay.
I think we saw the thing, let me open up the board for questions and then we'll.
We wanna see the upper floors?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
They are different.
oh, they are?
They are slightly, yes.
Okay, then go through them, I thought they were some.
So SD 102, I have not revised this drawing, so it's the same as previously submitted. So, let's see, on the second floor, so each typical floor, which would be floors 2 and 3, has a total of 13 dwelling units. The layout includes 7 one-bedroom units, represented in the orange color, and there are 6 two-bedroom units represented in the blue color. A dedicated utility room is also located on each floor across from the elevator. There's also a trash room located on Plan North. I'm sorry, which is here at the top here. And it stacks on all 4 floors and discharges into the trash room.
Is that at the end of the hallway there?
Yes, it's inside a dedicated room, and it's fire
And
rated.
that's going vertically down to the trash room?
Correct. And each room has an exhaust, so there's no smells or anything, so. Yes. And then, so that's the layout of each floor. I have typical enlarged unit plans. So,
Each unit have laundry?
excuse me?
Does each unit have
Yeah.
his own laundry?
Yes, they do.
Yes, it does.
Yes. So just quickly, so the one-bedroom unit, each unit is fully accessible. You come into a welcoming entry that leads into a modern, open concept kitchen and living area. Each dwelling unit includes its own in-unit laundry machine, conveniently located off the dining room area. So it's in the center here. The primary bedroom unit is spacious at 14.5 by 11.5 feet. All units are fully accessible throughout and including the bathrooms. The 2-bedroom unit that is shown here on the left is similar to the 1-bedroom, except it includes an ensuite that is, with the bedroom being even more generous at 11 by 16 feet inside. The ensuite also has a his and hers closet here with its own private bathroom. Okay, the 4th floor, which is slightly different than the 2nd and 3rd. The only difference is in this corner here, because of the designed feature of the main entrance. It doesn't have the 4th floor extend up here, and it allows me to also kind of tuck in the elevator machine room and a small utility room here. But otherwise, it's identical to the floors below.
Outside the first floor, there are no other amenities, correct?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. And then the roof floor plan, which would be the next drawing. Roof? Roof is, you got it right there. Roof is here. Roof is up there in that corner. So, okay, so the roof. So the majority of the roof is designed as a flat roof system. It has a white TPO membrane to reflect the sun to help with the sustainable environmental aspects. There's a slope parapet that extends around the entire perimeter and also conceals the fourth floor below. It also allows us to screen off any mechanical equipment that we will be putting on the roof. So we're allowing to have, so we'll have about 3.5 feet of parapet screening. So you will not, if you're on the streetscape, you won't be able to see.
What if you're in Milburn across the street? How far, would you be able to see it?
I don't believe you'll be able to see it. You may see a few inches of whatever units that we have up there, but a majority of it will be screened. Yes.
Anything further?
So we captured that. And I just have a couple comments on the exterior building elevation. That's really it. I'll be quick on this. So, again, we have the thin brick veneer that's incorporated primarily in these features here on the building, which we showed the examples. Cast stone veneer accents that also enhance the architectural character. Let's see here. This is that fourth floor that we are concealing. So I just want to show that those windows will have that asphalt material. And we have on this bottom right-hand corner, we are showing examples of lights that we will be putting on the building. And that was coordinated with the civil drawings. And did I talk about the signage?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Mr. Visco, anything further?
Resolution compliance, on these elevation views, you see the dash line, which represents the flat roof, so they could put the equipment in there to verify that it's not, that it's properly screened.
That's a good idea.
I was, with Mr. Barnett's question about laundry and the trash, I was satisfied. I think you could probably go to your elevation and maybe discuss the sconce lighting, because I think that would help board members understand how that streetscape's gonna be lit.
Okay. Okay. So I think the rendering really kind of helps tell the story for the lighting. So along the first floor, we have a series of wall sconces, and that allows us to illuminate both upwards and downwards. They're going to be LED, and they are dimmable, so just to make sure we get the correct light levels, and it really enhance that streetscape. And then we also have some lighting, and you'll kind of see it here at the top and the bottom. So when I say the bottom, it's really the second floor, here at the bottom of the windows, and then here at the third floor, we have some downlights. So you have an uplight here and a downlight, and that just kind of, we have it here at this brick bump out, and then here. So that's really the lighting strategy. And we did that along Morris Ave and then also on Baltushaw.
And there's no under canopy lighting, correct?
There's no under, that's correct.
I don't have anything.
I Is there any green building elements or any other elements related to architectural design within the building?
So what we did was the white TPO roof membrane to help with the heat island effect. We also did the HVAC. We intend to use energy efficient equipment, and then also with the plumbing fixtures with the low flow. That's what we're planning on using.
And then, Mr. Chairman, just for record, I just want to put on the statement, in terms of architectural finishes, I think the brick is the most attractive element of the building. And I think brick in that corner piece would be more visually pleasing, in my opinion. Having that brick could be, yeah, sure. I think, my opinion, this is just my opinion. This area could be brick to match this, and it's more symmetrical because this cement finishes is only on the bottom, so it's not on the second or third. So my opinion, I think the brick, making this area brick would match really nice with the other parts of the building.
I mean, it's a good suggestion. I mean, listen, I think because of its prominence here, because it is the gateway to the town, we felt that this cast stone feel is really something that gives an anchor, because it's heavy material. It symbolizes something that's heavy, it's strong, it's prominent. So that's why we went in that direction, because it really is the focal point, and especially as you come down Morris Ave. That's the direction we want, and that's what we feel. So that's why we went in that direction. Just like to hear your thoughts.
I'm inclined to agree with the architect. For us to debate, I like it to look like this, and you like it to look like this, we're gonna have one opinion for every single person here in this room. So I think your strategy makes sense, and that's your execution for that strategy. I think it makes perfect sense.
So just for the benefit of the mayor that just came back in, can you summarize what the last minute or so he has it?
He doesn't care.
Briefly, John, about the lighting sconces, just
Yes.
cover that in 1 second when the mayor comes back on the dais, just 1 second.
Yeah, just cover the light part.
Okay.
Just summarize the sconce thing.
Okay. Yes. So we're putting, our lighting strategy is on Morris and on Baltusrol. So we're using light sconces on the first floor. They have uplighting and downlighting. They're dimmable, so we're able to, working with the town engineer, make sure we get the correct lighting levels that we want. So that'll be at the bump outs here, and you can actually see it. We kind of highlighted them in various spots here, here, and it also goes down on Baltusrol. And then also on the upper portions of the building, above this cast stone band that wraps up, we have uplighting here, and then along the building, and then at the top, which is the top of the third floor, we have downlights. Here.
Okay.
That covers it.
Thanks, John.
Okay, since our professionals are done, let me pull the board. We'll start with you. Any questions for the architect?
Yeah, mine was just the clearance height underneath the building, considered to be about 12 feet.
Yes.
Any issue with that, like, roof truck or any, like,
Typically, no, we don't have any issues with that.
any need for like a, like variance, that's fine.
It was discussed in our TRC meeting with fire, and they said that underclearance would be acceptable for ambulance. So
Yes.
I'll leave it, to building code and whether they need it. Do they need to put a sign near clearance? I mean,
Let's leave that as
Yeah.
an open issue for you guys to resolve.
I certainly don't want anybody driving into it, but
Yeah.
you would think,
No one's gonna say, yeah, it would be more of a U-Haul thing, other than that, but most people are gonna, other than a U-Haul, they should, it's not gonna be an issue, but. Well, their garbage truck's gonna be on the other side.
Yeah.
So it won't be an issue.
Correct.
We'll leave it to him to figure that out.
it's fair comment.
Alex?
Can you talk a little bit more about the view, of the bottom floor that will be parking? It looks like there's going to be windows, but they're not, are are there glass windows there, or is it like pass through like gating kind of?
Yeah. Okay, so along the front,
Yeah.
all the windows you'll be able to see through into the building. But on the parking lot side, most of the windows that we see are more of a faux window, more for aesthetics. Because
That's my question, is like, from the street view, what are they? Are they like big windows with a?
no, they're all real windows.
They are windows.
Yeah, those are real windows, yeah. No P-tax. So, one of the, so the, so we're still trying to figure out the strategy for that. We wouldn't use P-tax because P-tax don't look very nice. So, I mean, there's the options of like a magic pack, or you could do a split system. So.
Or the outside of the.
Right.
What's the setback from the building from the curb line on Morris Avenue?
It's approximately 15 feet. Yeah.
What about on Baltus Road?
Baltusrol, it's about 13, 14 feet. You have articulation in the facade of the building, so you get little nooks in there, and that's where we put some benches and bicycle racks. But you should have adequate separation. We meet the setback requirements of the ordinance.
I'm waiting for traffic.
Not sure you're the one to direct the question. Since we're not sure if it's going to be occupant owned or if it's going to be apartments, is there a place, in either case, for like an HOA office or a place for a superintendent to reside?
I believe on the first floor, I carved out an office on the, actually shown here. So let's,
Yeah, but that doesn't answer the, will there be somebody on premises?
If it's an apartment, you would need to have a superintendent.
There's not going to be, there's not going to be a superintendent on premises. This is, will be maintained. If it's rental, there will be property maintenance company that will handle the property. And if it's an HOA, they can certainly, at that appropriate time, I think we're showing some area, right, John? Maybe even they can carve out a piece of the community room for their office. But, you know, that would be up to the HOA at that time.
I get the HOAs, but I guess there'll be like a property manager number for them to call for.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, Chair, this is, as I've said before, the name of the building, and literally it is the gateway to Springfield. There is certainly a very strong desire, I know, by this board and by this township to have a high-quality product here. There's certainly a desire by the applicant to have a high-quality product and to maintain that product. How will this site live into the future unless it's well-maintained? So it's only in everyone's best interest, including the applicants, to ensure that the property is properly maintained, and whether it's owned and rented or individually owned, it would be the same quality standard.
We'll talk more through, because that's a question at the end, about the owner versus rentals. So, two exterior questions. One, confirm, there's no other entry and exit along the streetscape other than the main entrance into the building on the east side, correct?
correct, yes, correct. A previous iteration, we may have had one, but that has since been
Do
removed.
you have awnings over all of the windows facing the street, or are they alternating?
So they alternate. So where the building, where the light gray is, on either side of the brick, it's recessed, so that's where we put the awnings. And then also there's an awning, yeah, so right where the cursor is.
It's a little misleading since there's not retail space, that typically an awning like that would front retail, and now there's no ingress egress, so you're kind of just, it's a decorative feature.
Yeah.
I don't know if you went into this during the material presentation, but what are we thinking? Is that metal awning or fabric?
That's a metal awning, yes. And it would be representative.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So that obviates my next question. And then with respect to the lettering above the entrance, is that illuminated?
No, it's non-illuminated,
Non-illuminated?
yeah.
Is there any, like, deterrents for nesting birds and stuff with that kind of lettering? I always see that.
Right.
Do you have, like, spikes or anything?
Um,
Into the plan, like, what would deter that?
We would have some sort of a feature that would deter birds from sitting there and doing their business. Usually you see those bird strikes and things like that. I mean,
If you're putting that up there on top of lettering, it's not really.
right. But what I will say is, you know, we don't really envision it to be like very thick. It's something that's be thin profiled, so I don't really envision a bird kind of sitting on there.
Would you consider boxing in the letters and somehow illuminating it from behind? So that visual pop without having to maintain it in a way that's probably difficult.
Right.
We'll answer that question in a second.
Fair.
All right, then the only other question on the interior, was there any, like, space for residents to store bulky items or bicycles or stuff like that in the common area? Or a basement or something like that?
So on, let's see, the first floor. So across from the elevator bank, we do have those storage units for each apartment, so yes. Yeah, we thought that was an important feature to have, so.
Okay, so let's do this. Oh, sorry, and then Julie, I'm sorry. Anything, Ken?
Curious, for the park benches in front, garbage cans planned?
I don't believe so.
It shows a garbage can, I think, on the picture.
I think we did not show any new ones. I think there's an existing one by the bus stop, but we didn't show any new ones. We could certainly work with the downtown improvement as far as the streetscape goes. So if there's certain, you want to match the benches and the other elements, the bike rack, so we may end up throwing a few waste cans in. Yeah. Good point. All right. Thank you.
Julie,
No questions.
can you see well now?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just one more. I apologize, Board. When Gabe brought up the green building element, so every year when we meet with Environmental Commission, they ask us about green roofs. So to put on the record, is a green roof feasible? I usually get that a no from the architect.
That is a no.
Okay. So, I mean, again, they ask us, and we ask a lot of the time, and it just, I'm not going to proffer why it's not feasible. If you want the architect to do that, that's fine. But I just know, every time we ask an architect, it's not feasible, cost prohibitive and the like, and, you know.
There's a lot of trees there to offset.
I'm just putting it on the record.
And for the record, I did review this plan at the environmental commission meeting, it did not come up.
Good, okay.
As a requirement. Maybe someone forgot to ask, but.
Okay, so let's do some housekeeping. It's already 7:52. Let's take it, you have what, traffic's gonna come up, it's probably about 20 minutes?
Yeah, we're going to have traffic come up to address what we received from Mr. Disco as well as from the police.
And the public has to be able to opportunity to question, so.
Right.
Let's take, it's 7:52, let's break till 8 o'clock, is that fair?
That's fine, Chair, and it's your meeting.
Yes. All right, so for the record, we're gonna take a
1, 2, 3,
redevelopment plans, just start making
5,
requirements.
7, 8, 9.
Seems like the easy.
Oh, Julie, you back?
A certain percent.
Okay, good.
There's like, there's
Okay,
like
see you,
a
Mr. Glass.
punch list that has to reach like a certain score or something like that.
All right, it's 8 o'clock. Get started. So we're respectful of everyone's time. So Counselor, do you want?
Yeah, Chair, let me just very briefly just clear up a couple things. When Mr. Lonzafama was up, I think he made a little bit of a calculation error. He indicated there were 35 units, actually 38 units. I want to make sure that everybody's aware it is 38 units, that is number of units. And when we were looking at the floor plan, the first floor, we were talking about the office. Just so for clarity's sake, there is a management office on that first floor that can be used, whether it is rental or homeowner association. And there will be a presence on site for the purposes of property maintenance and making sure that the entity is, the area is properly maintained, the building's properly maintained. So I just want to clear up those few points, Chair. Chair, I'm going to have my traffic expert come up, and we can proceed on that, if that's okay?
Yes. Swear her in, tell us about her.
Okay, Justine, you want to get sworn in?
Raise your right hand. You swear affirm the truth, that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Sure. Justine Fox, last name Fox. I am a project manager with Stonefield Engineering. Address is 92 Park Avenue, Rutherford, New Jersey.
Okay, and, sorry, Matt. Can you give us briefly your qualifications, your education background, and your licensing?
Sure. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering from the University of Maryland. I am a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. My license is current and in good standing. I have over 9 years of experience in land development within the state of New Jersey, with the majority of that time as a traffic engineer with Stonefield.
Do you, ask the board to accept Ms. Fox as an expert in the field of traffic engineering.
Don't have any concerns, does anyone? Nope, seeing none, let's proceed.
All right, so Justine, you were retained by the applicant to take a look at the access circulation, and I think you've also received some comments that Mr. Disco had, as well as the police department. You want to give the board the benefit of your insights?
Sure, of course. As previously mentioned, Gateway Manor is located at the southeast intersection of Morris Avenue and Baltustra Way. This is a pretty much 6-leg intersection that's under DOT jurisdiction. It sits on the edge of both 2 municipalities as well as 2 counties. So it is a bit of a complicated intersection. For that reason, the proposed site driveway is located as far south from that intersection as the property frontage does allow. That driveway is 24 feet wide. That is typical of a residential development and provides for safe access to and from the development. I believe it was requested by the engineer that some sort of mechanism would be put in place at that driveway to allow for any queuing on Baltustra Way to not block that driveway. And I would agree, in my professional opinion, something like a do not block the box striping on the public right-of-way in front of that driveway would mitigate any concerns that queuing from the signal would block residents from being able to exit that site. So that is my recommendation on that. I also looked at the on-site parking and circulation. Again, the majority of the site does have those 24-foot wide drive aisles, which is more than sufficient to maneuver in and out of all those parking spaces. We meet the parking requirement, which per the RSIS standards and the EV vehicle credit does bring the parking requirement down to 65 parking spaces. I did also want to just compare what's proposed to the ITE, that's the Institute of Transportation Engineers standards for this land use. ITE kind of breaks multifamily residential up into a few different categories. I started with looking at the land use code specifically for senior adult housing and multifamily in a multifamily configuration, which does include 55 and up developments, such as the one here proposed here today. Based on the ITE, the parking demand for this type of development is about 6.7 spaces per unit, which equals only about 25 spaces. Parking demand here is measured by just like going to the site and counting the vehicles on the property. So that can include residents, it can include guests, it can include employees. So that, again, based on senior adult housing, only about 25 vehicles on an average weekday are anticipated. However, I did also look at just what an average low-rise development, that's any development with 3 levels of residential living or less. And those averages range from about 0.9 vehicles per unit to about 1.5 vehicles per unit. So again, we'd anticipate at any given time, there'd most likely be between 35 and 60 vehicles on site. So those proposed 65 spaces would be more than enough to meet even the highest standards if you were looking at a 38-unit residential low-rise with no age restriction and every unit being 2 bedrooms. Again, this is a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom, so in my professional opinion, it is more than sufficient to meet the parking demand.
So what happens
Yeah.
if there's no spots other than the 10 EVs? Anyone, just offer people can park there? So you get to the site,
Yeah.
someone's throwing a big party,
Sure.
and there's no spots, only the 10 EVs.
It is my understanding it's up to the property management of how they would mark the EVs while they are, and they're intended for charging. They do not necessarily have to be marked as no parking unless otherwise charging. I also do want to mention that those typically are installed staggered. You begin at opening, the requirement is a third of them have to be installed, and every 3 years it's another third and another third. So I think by the time 6 years passes, they would figure it out, correct?
Francisco, you agree with that?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Perfect. Continue.
Great.
Talk about, in
Yeah.
the subcommittee, we talked about getting out,
Sure.
queuing, and some of the signage and the pavement bricks, or whatever we called it. Talk a little bit about the queuing, so if someone's trying to make a right or a left in now, and the traffic light's red, and the cars queue up and it blocks, you know, can you talk a little bit about that? I think you have the little do not block things. But
Yes,
give us an idea of how many cars and all that stuff, because Mr. Disco did a subsequent thing as well.
Yeah, so that driveway is proposed about 140 feet back from the intersection. So you will be able to kind of fit between 6 and 7 vehicles along that roadway width before you would interact with the with that driveway. I did go to the site on 2 different occasions. One was off peak hour and one was during peak hour. It was peak hour today, which the Monday after Super Bowl may be a slightly smaller traffic volume on the roadway. I did only see about 2 vehicles queuing at Baltusrol Way. I believe that do not block the box will be sufficient for those, you know, few busiest hours in a typical day during that weekday morning or evening rush where you do see queuing at that intersection. Yeah, I believe so, and with the added lighting along the building, I think in general that entire corner is going to be a bit more illuminated, that you would be able to see that, and those typical signs are reflective, they're MUTCD standard to be able to see in the dark.
With the signs, I'm worried about like
The
dark.
striping. There would be signs along with that striping on the ground that say "Do not block the box."
The revised plan that Mr. Alonso Fama presented has the grid on half of the northbound side, and there's a sign indicated to do not block, which is mirroring the testimony you're hearing.
That's the best we can do.
Well, it's certainly a very practical and something that would, hopefully, people, the vehicle operators would obey, so that if there's an emergency, you can get a fire truck in there without having to move.
What about, what the concern is if you are coming from Morris Avenue and you make a left or a right on Baltusrol Way, and someone's making a left into the site and is waiting, does that block, how many cars will it take before that blocks and causes a backup on Morris?
You got the 140 feet, so you're 6 to 7 vehicles.
6, 7 vehicles.
When I observed it on the Wednesday night for 2 hours, not once did I have that situation.
Okay.
So I counted cars every minute.
Yeah.
And the maximum I had was 6 cars in a minute. So when the light at Milburn Ave turns, you get that maneuver where they make the right, because they have to go right, and then they're either continuing right, west, or turning into Baltusrol. And it comes in a wave, but the most I counted was 6. Now, again, you have somebody there with the block, if you have the don't block the box, you're gonna be able to make that maneuver, and the issue doesn't arise.
Okay, so
So we're trying to guard against it.
We're doing the best prudent that we can do.
Right, for a little extra traffic striping, which is annoying, but, it will be the best that we can do. And we're alerting it with the sign, and, obviously if people don't adhere to it, and the enforcement's there, in the morning, that's where I saw the queue, it's probably the same people going every day, or whatever days they're working, so.
But if this was a restaurant or retail, then it would be a lot worse than what it would.
Yeah.
So this is the better of the situation.
How?
Well, it'd be worse if if there was a retail establishment where cars were coming in and out more and coming to there as opposed to the 35, 38 residents that live there. That's my question for you, is that?
Well, yeah, obviously the people who live there are gonna be used to the condition and adjust to it.
Yes.
Whether they themselves are not gonna block the box, we would hope, but, they'll anticipate it. I'm not sure what the question is in there.
So my thing is, the traffic from this 38 units, plus or minus, 38 units, compared to Scotty's restaurant, or if it was a retail.
I could actually give you those numbers if you'd like. I did run a quick trip generation comparison using ITE, that's the Institute of Transportation Engineers Trip Generation Manual. For the Scotty's restaurant, the land use is called drinking place, and they typically only would study the busiest hours of an establishment. So we have data on a weekday evening and the Saturday. The weekday evening had a total of 44 vehicles in and out of the driveway, so that includes both vehicles turning in or out, compared to the weekday evening of a 38-unit residential development where there's only 10. So you're seeing about 30 less vehicles in and out during the busiest hour of the day when you compare those two different land uses. And there is even a much larger difference on Saturday. So it is relative to what could be there, a much lower traffic generator. And typically residential really just sees the 2 busiest hours when people leave for the morning for work and come home from work. However, this is 55 plus, so not all residents may be leaving every day.
If you want a negative for traffic, it's obviously, Scotty's was not generating an AM peak hour massive thing. Unless you had a delivery, there's just nobody there. They weren't even open. So if you're opposed to this for some reason, the trips that are generated in your AM peak from a residential, which would be probably consistent with any other use, including a retail use, isn't just an evening, use. That's the facts. That's the reality of it. But compared to Scotty's, the PM is certainly much less. I mean, I use different categories.
If Scotty's wasn't there, they'd be able to put like a retail establishment there, and that could generate
Permitted.
a lot more than what 38 would be, is what I'm trying to say.
You have restaurants that aren't when I looked at the restaurant category, for instance, drinking, obviously, we would hope nobody's drinking in Springfield at 8 AM, but legally.
This happens.
But obviously, there could be a restaurant that was breakfast, lunch, or whatever. You could generate a lot more than that's what normally is permitted there.
The numbers game. Okay, let's, anything further?
Just quickly wanted to talk about the clearance, because I did hear some accidents. The clearance was testified to be about 12 feet. Just for reference, a typical ambulance is about 8 to 10 feet, so they would be able to navigate underneath that covered parking. There's questions about U-Haul. The typical 2-bedroom U-Haul recommended vehicle has about a 10 to 11 foot clearance. So again, they would be able to navigate underneath that, that covered parking.
Maybe that's something the property manager can put in the notes to people, the lease agreement, just
Of course. And then I also did review the accident data, both provided to us as well as NJDOT historic data for the intersection. I actually first looked at it from Farley Place to Baltustra Avenue, not to be confused with Baltustra Way, which is located about 200 feet to the east. Because this is a many-legged intersection, there's about 200, a little more than 200 accidents in that entire stretch. When you kind of break it down between Morris Avenue, what? Oh, sorry, between 2020 and current day. The specific kind of more directly in front of our site between Baltustra Way and Morris Avenue was about 36 accidents. You saw a mix of what you would anticipate at a multi-leg offset intersection. There was right angles, there was rear ends, there was left turns, side swipes. There was not a specific accident type here. And I think that's important to note, that there's, not a glaring improvement that could be made. It is a complicated intersection. We've done our best to mitigate where our access is because of that.
Mike, what did Captain Rachel say?
All I got was a tally of the accidents, and, just the list in the last couple of years. But they're not specific as to the type of accident. So all I did was highlight anywhere I saw Baltus Road, highlighted. So, most of them are obviously not on Baltus Road.
It's a highly trafficked area. I mean, even by Ms. Fox's standards, you're averaging about 1.5 accidents a month, and that's what's reported.
Correct.
We've all driven by there. It's a very, there's multiple accidents a month. So you regularly see red and blue lights going down there. You regularly see it.
And in my professional opinion, the streetscape improvements may have a positive impact on that. There is sort of a visual idea that as drivers are driving through a more residential area, that they take more precautions than they would on a large 2-lane commercial strode, if you will. So.
Let's open it.
Yeah.
1 second, just want to go to our professionals first.
Oh, yeah, could you just comment, would NJDOT, I don't know if a non-applicability or no interest letter be required for this?
It would not be required because there's no driveway in existing, there's no driveway in proposed. I could tell you right now, they would approve it. There's a negative net trip generation.
And in looking at the signage, there's a no left turn sign.
Correct.
For the light, because it's a right-only turn. We added a no stopping or standing sign along that right side, which to me makes, you're not going to have the likelihood of somebody parking there. It was raised by subcommittee about, a ride share or Uber Eats temporarily parking there. That was taken into consideration, so we added the sign, and then there's 2 other signs that direct deliveries into the surface parking lot to the rear. So obviously, police have to enforce it. But I don't see any other signage that you could do. I'm asking your opinion, I suppose.
Correct. And like I mentioned, there is more than sufficient parking on site. So any of those deliveries, I believe a driver themselves would prefer to be in the on-site parking lot away from roadway traffic. The signage is there to direct them onto the site. And there would more than likely be more than enough parking for them to wait out their delivery, pick up anyone, whatever it is.
The current street is listed as no parking on the southbound side, the opposite side. There's actually a sign that says no parking 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday on the residential side of the side here.
Didn't Captain Rachel say they're going to have to make an amendment?
Well, you might have to do a resolution. What was not clear with this absence of signage is what happens from the Scotty's driveway now to the corner of Morris. It's unsigned.
Okay.
Presumably, it's either gonna mimic the Monday to Saturday, 8 to 6, no parking. And certainly, if we added no stopping or standing, the council, township committee would have to, probably by resolution, do that.
So maybe you could follow up with Captain Rachel, and then if he feels there's something needs to be changed, he can go to the business administrator.
Well, it's incorporated into the plan, which is adding the no stopping or standing sign there.
Okay, so then he would, then likely the township committee would have to do something. Okay.
I mean, we don't have to act on that now, certainly prior to operation of the site.
Yeah, resolution compliance or before CO is given or something like that to make sure. Plenty of time. Okay, so Gabe, anything?
No comment, Mr. Chairman.
The only other thing is Mr. Lonzafanum showed the cross-hatching again on the half of the street. Is there a difference between half street or whole street? I mean,
Typically, queuing would only be on that northbound approach, so it would not necessarily be needed on the southbound approach. And I did just want to also mention that all the streetscape improvements along Morris Avenue would be under DOT jurisdiction and their review.
Two points. One, there's turning onto Morris, so that's only a right-hand lane, right? So
Correct.
the people looking to make a left are going to make a left out of there and immediately go down
Crest-
Straw Way, which is gonna put them out, and then have to cut across, Coldwell? No, that's
Morris Avenue.
Crescent might be the.
Yeah, Crescent Road to Morris Avenue. Correct. The benefit of the light there is you do sort of get platoons of movements along Morris Avenue, which would allow you to cross those two lanes of traffic into that designated left turn lane from Morris Avenue to Morris Turnpike to make that left.
Alex, if you wanted to go west,
Yeah.
I mean, I know on the township committee level, we've had complaints on that, on Fort Crest, who says they're trying to be a low impact street, I forget what sign or terminology we use. We're now going to not make that people are going to have to use that.
And it was a high-impact street then.
Whatever, I
Yeah.
forget the terminology,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there is a terminology where we try to say this is supposed to be a low, non-through street, I forget what we done.
you're talking about Crescent?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're now saying that it's not, but now people are gonna need to use that to get around town.
Absolutely.
Again, as a residential development, this would be a very low amount of vehicles during the peak hours compared to what could be here at this intersection. Again, I think it was at most 10 vehicles in a peak hour from this residential use. So at most, you're only seeing, if it's half of them, one car every 10 minutes
But
added
based
to
on-
Crescent Road.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Based on your calculations, that was using a 38 car, right?
That's based on 38 units.
That's based on 38
Yeah.
units.
Units.
Does it, I mean, does it go by how many cars, or is it just based on
It's
whatever
based on.
formula?
The formulas are based on the number of dwelling units for the land use.
Okay.
And then two, comment again, I might have missed it, I know you were going into detail, but the
Sure.
Uber plan.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Bruce is going, right, they get a ping location, and then that driver is going to immediately try to just pull up, run out. He's going to probably be directed to that front entrance door, which makes it, me seem that they're gonna attempt to park on that wall.
I think within the app, and residents should, and I recommend be encouraged, there is the notes section to say, please enter at the driveway on Boltestros
So
Way.
there's also-
Yes, and that is not up to,
Alex,
I've used Uber Eats, I know,
Okay.
I live in an apartment building, it is, compared to me and, every other, right, the amount of people that are using Uber Eats and daily drop-off is continuing to increase and increase. They're going to attempt, it's going to be
Well,
and there's
so
the
I had a-
signage for the deliveries as well.
So Alex, the idea is you could, that cartway, the entranceway can be a street name, and hopefully that gets picked up by the map's name, and that's what they'll end up using. So when the addresses are assigned, it is Jeffrey Way, and it's, each home has one, so that way it goes, they come in that way as that is the street name. That's the way you can solve with that. And make it, because the police have Title 30, the police have access, while it's a private road, because they'll be maintaining it, but the street name will hopefully get picked up.
I mean, I don't know, if you're saying that that might be a way to work around, because I'm just saying, that's gonna come up in Morris, they're gonna A, they're gonna miss it, and they're gonna attempt to try to stop on Morris Ave, I guarantee. And the next best thing is they're gonna pop around and try to park right there, and you're gonna stop blocking. Because they do it,
Yeah.
navigation is not.
Just throw the
gets us
hazards
around,
on.
But it's not perfect.
Just throw the hazards on,
And,
exactly.
yeah, they're gonna throw the hazards on and attempt to run into that complex.
If we do it,
There-
so I was gonna say, if we, obviously, we name that street, would that help?
Yes, a couple of things. So the subcommittee did discuss this. We talked about an indent there. We just didn't think we had the room. So there are 2 delivery directional signs, one facing the southbound traffic and one the northbound before you get to the site. And they're saying, go to the, deliveries go there. We also have the no stopping or standing. Yes, an Uber driver only cares about speed. I get it. So we're maximizing it. Yes, you can. We did this at the Mountainside Municipal Building. We had everybody at New Providence Road queuing up and blocking the access in for emergency access. You give it a name. In that case, they named it after a deceased mayor and a street, and now you can enforce the blocking the box. So, but I don't want to get into whether they want to name their,
No,
you know.
what we've done with, and we did this with Saks and other developments, is the street names were named, the township committee took it on, and it was named after some sort of historic thing, or a soldier in Springfield, or whatever, so I think the name of the street would be subject to approval by the township committee, that they'll give a few recommendations, like how we did prior to that.
Chairman, my only other point here is, obviously, I think Mr. Jiska was talking about the fact that there is going to be perhaps a better signage on Baltusrol with regard to the prohibition on stopping and standing or parking. And then it would be, once these Uber drivers and the Grubhubs and whatever, Door Dashers start getting tickets for
I'm
doing
gonna cut you off
parking.
right there. They're not getting tickets, and they're not there long enough, and we don't have enough, pardon me,
Yeah. No, it's fine.
they're not there long enough to get a ticket. And I know it personally, living in a complex myself, living in a tough turnaround, this is way harder than mine on Short Hills Ave where I live. You're going to see backup. I personally, and I would like to, it's not my vote, I would put it up to, I would make that a condition that that has to be renamed before we,
Well, if
put that in the,
If they put a street name, if they do put a street.
signage is not enough for me.
No.
Off the Stroll Way.
So, if, with the
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what we would do.
Signage on the street is not sufficient.
So,
And my second part of my response was going to be that I understand that the street street name issue is probably going to resolve it. So we'll agree to the street name as a condition of approval.
so, the township committee will maybe reach out to the historic committee, something like that, and come up with some names like they did with the last one. Erica did it last time.
Kaiser Way.
Kaiser Way.
I have a point.
Okay, so let's try to be orderly. Let's start in the order so we can get through it, because it's one night. So
He always shuts me up.
Ken? Scott? Then we'll get to you.
I don't know that this is for you, but
Sure.
something you said triggered it, so it might be food for council. Are there assigned parking spaces?
That's not contemplated at this time.
So the issue I have is mitigating what I'll call cheater parkers, because it is close to a bus stop. And if there are vacant spaces, it becomes easy to utilize the spots if they're not assigned. And I know we're talking about having Title 39 and being able to enforce towing. But if we don't assign spots, it just kind of.
My recommendation, based,
I understand the concern. I think the only thing is we just hadn't gotten to that level, but assigning spaces probably will resolve that, and we don't have a problem with that.
I would recommend
That's fine.
residential tags to not assign specific unit spaces. That can create an artificial parking.
We'll leave it to Mr. Disco to come up with a plan with you, and he has concerns, it'll come back to the board.
We're just giving you a lot of work, man.
Yeah, Disco's underpaid and overutilized.
That was all I had.
I have something. All the statistics that you stated, saying all those wonderful things, did you take into account, or does any statistics take into account the fact that we're dealing with elderly drivers, as opposed to the general public?
Sure. So the land use I was specifically looking at for trip generation was specific to senior adult housing. So yes, it was, and both in terms of the parking demand and the trip generation in and out of the driveway.
Because statistically, elderly drivers do have a higher tendency, unfortunately, for car accidents. And this is going to be a building that's going to be 55 plus, which means most likely it'll be more like 60 plus in reality, or 65 plus. So I just want to know if that's being taken into consideration at all.
It was with the trip generation, and I think the other benefit of that is that an older population typically leaves their home less than a unrestricted residential development. So there are less vehicles added to the road because of that.
Okay, so I just wanted to know if that was looked
Sure.
at all. Okay. I'm good.
So in subcommittee, my biggest issue was the Uber stopping and stand. That's gonna, Caldwell, Baltusrol is only one lane wide. So if anyone stops there, it's gonna mess up all the traffic. So I hadn't heard about this naming, but I would wanna make that. I think that should.
Yeah.
Sounds like a way to fix it, or at least.
Because if they file a map, it should be picked up, right? So
Yeah,
that's it,
so
we'll make it,
that, yeah.
even if, you'll have to figure out the mechanism, because even if it's not for sale units, and it's one big thing, we have to file a site plan or a
I'm
map.
just telling you what happened in Mountainside. It's a municipal building, comes through New Providence Road, it's constantly blocked and queued. They couldn't enforce the tickets until they gave it a name. So they gave the driveway a name.
Okay, great.
And then we have to file the plot, right?
And they gave the police the mechanism to ticket it.
Great, done.
I have a question on that. If you give us a name, doesn't it have to be something with that address on it? So in other words, would it have to be each section of the building have a different address? In order for it to be even registered on it?
They're all gonna have different unit numbers, presumably given by the.
So it's gonna be 38 blank blank road? Okay.
Whether they go 2, 3, 4, 201, whatever they do.
Mayor?
Did your agency perform a traffic study?
We did submit make sure I got the name right, a access and circulation memorandum.
But I mean, that fell short of like a proper
So
traffic study.
we did look at the trip generation, and due to it being a significant decrease compared to the previous use.
Sure.
Well,
it's not the previous use was an abandoned
It is,
building.
right.
So.
But typically
So it's
there's
a
a
substantial
threshold.
increase from the previous use.
There's a threshold IT sets of when you would study an intersection, and that's based on over 50 trips in an hour. Like I said, we were seeing at most about 10 trips for this use. So
Okay. And you're confident that with all the mitigation and everybody follows the rules and we name the street and everything like that, that this will not be a problem in terms of traffic, given the high propensity for accidents already in existence with an abandoned building?
I would say it would not change the traffic conditions on this roadway corridor.
Okay.
Hey, Julie, go to you out of turn. Julie?
Yes, I'm here, no questions.
Perfect. Richard? Alex, anything more?
No.
Is there
The do not block is under Boltestraw, I was doing so well there. Boltestraw Way, so that I believe is under municipal jurisdiction. Everything along Morris Avenue is under DOT jurisdiction. A highway occupancy permit application will be required for all the streetscape improvements proposed along the sidewalk. No, and there is no driveway on the DOT road for them to review.
Anything further from our professionals? Okay, seeing none. Before we open up to the public, I know there was two, before we open to the public, so we don't have to reopen it up to the public. Okay?
The 2 points we want to talk.
Yes.
One is
Bus stop.
Bus stop will come to point two. First, just because we always like to and want to be cleaner and greener, have we given any thought that it is a flat roof?
Mr. Lonzo.
And it would maybe make more sense if it is proposed down the line to do it when it's still under construction. Has anybody given thought to solar on the roof?
No, we haven't, but if, John, did you have anything? We had not considered placing solar on the rooftop.
Why, I'm just saying, why wouldn't you, if it's, you can't see it, no one will be able to see it, and you will get, you get the energy credits back. They finance it for 30 years, and
Yeah, the issue is we haven't calculated the ultimate available rooftop to get into that decision-making. Obviously, if we, at some later point, we may consider placing solar on there. That's not, you can always place solar on an existing site. But as far as right now, that's not something that we have considered. But we do take the board's comments on that as well.
Lastly, discussion of the bus stop.
Yeah, so you're putting up all, you're making, like you said, new trash cans, new benches and everything. It looks nice. It does. You did a great job. The bus stop looks like crap. So just to be frank, how do we mitigate something?
So what my client would do as part of this, because obviously the bus stop is going to be right in front of the building, right? So the quality of maintaining that bus stop and cleaning that bus stop is going to fall on him. And he's willing to take that on that maintenance and cleaning, because obviously that cleaner bus stop is only going to be to his benefit. It's going to be the benefit of the pedestrians in that area. And
I was thinking of like updating it to with the colors and the look and feel, subject to NJ Transit approval.
well, my client is willing to agree to the maintenance and cleaning and the maintenance of the bus stop. If glass or whatever, the plexiglass or whatever falls out, he'll seek to get that repaired and maintain the seats. I don't think this is something where there would be a new bus stop, but rather maintenance of the better maintenance where there's probably none now, but better maintenance and cleaning of that area, which he'll take on going forward. And throughout this time, the site is in operation.
It's in front of the parking thing. I mean, right, to the far left, the
Right,
left.
but there are like these nooks now with benches, so is one of the nooks with the bench gonna be right behind the bus stop? Right, but I don't know how much.
I do also want to mention that is DOT jurisdiction. They would have to sign off on anything there.
So you see the bus stop is shown on the rendering. So it's this piece right here. So it is in front of the building. And, we have the benches along the way. So, like I said, obviously, that bus stop, in essence, becomes part of the project in a way. That, if he's gonna be it
Can it
doesn't
be
make sense to
painted and
maintain all
clean-
this and not maintain
Can it be painted and cleaned up?
It'll be properly maintained and cleaned. I don't know what the status of I mean,
I think if we can potentially, and I think a lot of bus stops is on the township. Right? So we would, the township, yeah. I would like to take a look.
So the question is, how do we clean it? Is it something that, they're agreeing to maintain it and make it look pretty to keep with the stuff, the site?
Get somebody to deal with that and then potentially the township will work with the bid.
Yeah. So so it may be something that the town works with. and seeing-
right, you have you have the bid, obviously, which will also inform how well, the manner in which it's kept.
What? Oh, it's you? Okay, good. That's your next assignment, I guess. Okay, so that's, anything more for traffic?
Nothing further, right, Justine?
So the one thing I want to put on the record, since we're here, is I think we've discussed with the removal of the dog park on site that there would be an off-track contribution to the Township Recreation Fund for $22,500.
That is correct, Chairman.
$15,000 would be paid at building permits, when the building permits are, and then 120 days later, the remainder would be paid. I'm sure that our planning board attorney could work with the redevelopment attorney to find what fund the township has. There's an exact recreation thing that we could put in, subject to the township committee to figure out, what they want to do with it.
That's correct, Chair.
Does the board understand what we did? We removed the dog park, they added 2 spots, and they've agreed to a contribution for what we could hope is a dog park, but it'll be up to the township committee to decide what they want to do. That's not the planning board's decision. We could just recommend. Sounds good. Good. Move to public. Okay, so at this point, we're going to take this opportunity to open this matter to the public. So the way we do it is, for any members of the public that wish to speak, we allot 5 minutes. We'll allow you to ask questions of the professionals. We'll let them tally it, and then once they finish, they'll come up and answer your questions. Is that fine? So any members of the public that wish to speak on application 10-2025S, please come up. Feel free, come on up. We have to swear on the dog, too, so. Go ahead, state your name for the record.
It's Michael, last name is Takas, Takacs. I live at 39 Crescent Road, Springfield. You're not, you're redeveloping. One thing you do is, there's no way to, I'm on an island right now. I feel like an island. There's no way to cross the streets anyplace. Especially that corner where they turn. There's no cross lines. It's like a risk for us to cross it. Every time I take her for a walk, if I want to cross that street, there's no way to get across that street. And also, the big amount of accidents that we keep complaining about is because I witnessed walking across Morris Turnpike. I push the walk, I get a walk signal, the light stays green. Maybe happens once a month, but it does stay green, and the cars start honking at me, and I'm looking at them. And I keep reporting it to everybody, but nobody seems to understand that. It doesn't happen all the time, but at least once a month, when I cross that street, I hit that walk sign, that light stays green.
And it says to cross.
And that tells me to cross.
That's not the purview of our board, but it's a big safety issue that we'll have to have Mr. Disco work with the applicant to get that.
Is this by the bus stop?
Yes, it's by the bus stop. And there is no way to cross from across what's that? Gloucester, because there's no walk signs or anything, and then you don't know when to cross there. And you're gonna have these elderly people that might wanna walk down the block or something, and you got no cross signal there, no crosswalk, no signage.
So, just gonna say, Mike, how would we, obviously, the DOT has to get involved with that, as the applicant can reach out to them, that it's been reported in.
Yeah, we've done that in the past. We've asked the applicant to interact with DOT for what improvements. We did this on the Larkin project. We did it on Patriots Way. We put a traffic signal in on Saks. So there's a crosswalk across Baltusrol, but there is no pedestrian actuation or signalization. That signal's a DOT signal, not ours. If the board members recall, we had on Victory Road, I forget the name of that development, there was a condition that was 12 years old about the pedestrian crossing on, Main Street?
Yeah, we removed it because.
And, well, they approached DOT, and DOT said, yeah, you could do it. Full light reconstruction design, $350K. So that was an unreasonable condition which was removed by the board. So if the applicant approaches DOT and they say redesign the whole multi-leg signal there, that's a crazy signal. Help me out, Ms. Fox. $400K, whatever. So, I mean, it'd be great to get actuation, pedestrian signals. I don't know if you do that, though, in a vacuum, though. Yeah. And again, our experience with DOT is saying, take the whole light,
Yeah, that's not gonna.
But to the point, I just looked, I mean, there's no actuation there, so you're relying on the vehicles who, it's a right turn only, so they're probably looking left, and they're not even looking right, so if you're walking back to Crescent,
So
you
we
gotta
put
make
in
sure.
signage to alert them?
Well,
I don't know about that. It's,
Help.
right now,
No-
it's legal
no
to make a
turn.
right on red there. There's no prohibition on right on red. Now, I will tell you, you put the no right turn on red there, you're gonna queue it up even more, but it would help a pedestrian, to cross. Now, again, when I sat there for 2 hours, I noted 3 pedestrians who crossed in that 2-hour time period, the PM peak. Again, it's freezing out, so it's probably not a true thing, snow on the ground.
The biggest peak is, I can see it from my window in the morning, it's about 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, this car's all the way down around the corners, both directions queued up. You know, it's saying there's only a few cars. No, in the last year, it has, don't know what it is, but it's a big queue. And it's usually Tuesday and Thursday, not these off days that they're looking at. But I see the traffic.
Not to interrupt you, I would also imagine that people are, if there's gonna be residential, and yes, it is 55 up, but 55 up now work, or continue to work, they might walk up that street to Short Hills train station. So
Yeah,
there
it-
could be considerable people that now might be utilizing that, or at least a portion of that 38.
And another problem that's there is that traffic light. There is a traffic light that's supposed to stop after, but they all run it every time. They run it because they're saying there should be a stop here on red or some kind of marker that they know the stop at that traffic light. And police have requested that, but nothing has ever happened because, again, it's the state.
It's the state.
But people don't realize they need to stop because we're crossing the street.
So what we'll do is we'll refer it to the police to look into, see what they can do, but if it's the DOT, it's unfortunate.
It's
a
maybe you
black
can
box.
put a sign up there. I don't know what a sign is, just line a sign that says, stop here on red.
So what we'll do is, I'm sure the applicant will put any signs up that they would need to put up. So we'll bring this to Captain Rachel to ask him to review, and if he comes back and he says a sign would help, then the applicant will work with Mr. Disco to come up with the right signage.
Certainly enhance the striping of the crosswalk and the stop bar at that intersection.
There is no stop bar there right now.
Right.
Yeah, so that will be something that we can do. I forgot the traffic.
And it's not a full stop street, so it is a signalized street.
Is that something that we can work with Mr. Disco to stripe the street? Okay, perfect. So you'll work with as a condition, you'll work with Mr. Disco to figure out the striping of the street. Also, let's refer this to Captain Rachel, see if there's any other signage from what that be. And hopefully that's the case. And then if it's you're hitting and it says go and the traffic light, well, that needs to go to the DOT to look at. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I've sent.
Well, they have to apply for a permit, so it'll be part of their thing to get noticed. Can't promise anything, but it definitely will get noticed, because heck, I wouldn't want anyone crossing the street and it says go and cars are coming.
It's coming, and no matter what you do there, and there's a lot of people, because they get off the bus and they cross the street. And it is, you go across that in the morning, you've got to pay attention.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your comments. Any other members of the public wish to speak? You can, come up and state your name for the record.
Jenny Joe, 39 Crescent Road. He's my husband, so. But we cover different part. He covers the traffic, I cover the building. So I have a question. It's saying you have 38 units there. That will bring a lot of people. I do not know, it's a nice lady, did a research, but I live there. I know what it is. I was there, it's like 12 years. So is that some research, I do not know where the number came from, is not accurate. Okay. So first of all, is that visit parkings. That's you calculate based on the unit. That's a lot of units for the small space. Now, if they have visitors, they have where they park. They park on the street. We have like a Scotty. Scotty people sometimes they park a street around by the Crescent Road, which is in front of my house. So where's the parking? That's in Crescent Road is only one lane each direction. They park on the street, and the other car cannot get through it. So this is one thing I want to point out. Another one is that you talk about like have a dog park. Is that is dog friendly?
There's going to be no dog, nothing. There's going to be
no dog park on site.
So then it's not dog friendly in that facility, all right?
There's not gonna be any.
You're asking if dogs can be allowed in the apartments?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that would be up to the, that would be up to the.
I think that, that's something that the owner would have to decide if it's going to be, pets are allowed as part of his
There's a park
business-making
around the
decision.
corner. There's
Yeah.
a park around the corner.
Yeah, the reason I point out, we have other like apartment by the like Millboro Avenue, all right? They do have in part of Springfield, they do have allowed to have a dog there. We have a dog, we walk a dog, we clean up, but not our body clean up after, all right? On the sidewalk, they have like a green, like a grass. It's nice, look very nice. You can sit down, but the thing is, they do not pick up the.
Yeah, we obviously can't control
Yeah,
behaviors of what
yeah.
people
So
are.
that's what I say is like you allow the dog there or not. Then some people not pick up, then they were on the street, by my house. If we talk about it's like winter time, we can deal with more, but it's summertime, it smell.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do to control for that to happen.
Yes.
It happens at my house too. I see my neighbors
Yeah.
walking their dogs and they don't clean up.
Yeah.
And I tell them very nicely, please take care of it. And
Yeah.
It's my hopes that people be neighborly, but there's nothing we can control
Yeah.
from that standpoint. As far as parking, I think on Crescent, just like the street I live in, people can park all hours up until 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., I think is what it is.
Crescent, the south side is no parking. The north side is parking initially from Baltus Road till about the bend, and then it's signed no parking after that.
So there is a place that people can park, even guests of yourselves to park. You can't stop people from, if they're visiting, parking there. If they park on the wrong side of the street, the police see it, they're gonna ticket it. It's no parking. But there's nothing we can do on the other side. We allow it so that way you can also have resident people come in.
Okay, so you answer. Another one is generator. You talk about generator, where's the location? Not always put on the back of,
So
near my
there's no
house.
generator, so there's no generator part of this application. If there
Yeah.
is one, you will get noticed. If you were
Yeah.
noticed for this, you would be noticed for that.
Okay. And then another thing is that the building have a surveillance cameras?
So
The
you-
word-
Yes,
So there's any, the
For
security.
cameras.
For security purpose?
yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because of somebody stole my car from my driveway, and neighbors, they cannot, we call them. It's our police officer found it, but it's like neighbors, their camera cannot catch. We caught it. So that is a safety. And also another thing is we want to see the trash. I did not like it.
So the trash is inside, which is good.
Even though inside the summertime, smell.
Well, think about, this is far away from your house.
Is it part of, can they go to the other side of the building?
But think about it this way, people live in that building, so if it's bad for them, think about it, if it reaches you, it's gonna be 100 times worse for the people that live there. So I'm sure that they're taking the precautions to make sure it's picked up in a timely fashion, so that way it's not smelling within the building. Forget about that you are, I think Mr. Alonso Fama said 50-something feet, 65-ish feet away. People live a foot away, 5 feet away. People are adjacent to it. So as a board, I'm less concerned, but I know that if it becomes an issue, you would report it. If there's a smell and it continues, you would report it to the township non-emergency line, and they would, or the Board of Health Department would get involved.
Okay,
But
right.
We limit it to 5 minutes if there's not
Yeah,
anything else.
yes. So that's the one thing is the trash.
Yeah.
I'm not what's it called, the bus station. The bus station is better off move the other side of the traffic light. That's I'm a suggestion.
It's nothing that this board can control, because it is a DOT standpoint. The only thing this board is gonna try to do is give suggestions to make the look and feel better, and make maintenance of it more. That's the only thing the board can do.
Yeah, the reason I point out is because we walk our dog across street to the Millboro Avenue a lot, and then sometimes the homeless there, inside the bus station.
Well, if there is, you
Mr.
should pick
Chair.
up the phone and call the non-police emergency number and let them know, and they'll work through that.
We did, but you cannot call them every time. You have to wait the police show up.
Mr. Chair, the 5 minutes is up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to speak?
Good evening. My name is Nicholas Bombardier. I'm a Springfield resident as of 2016. I live in the neighborhood. I was right in this neck of the woods of Springfield. I'm very excited to see such a, beautifully designed structure going, into the community. I think we really need that. My concern is, really echoing with a lot of the other sentiments about the traffic. I travel through there quite often on my way to Morris Avenue to get to Milburn, to go to the ShopRite. And there's 5 different directions of traffic funneling all into that one small intersection, which is probably like maybe the size of this room. And you have cars going 45 miles an hour, making left turns, right turns. When you make a right turn and you're on Baltusrol Way, and Scotty's used to be on your right, you could make that right turn on red. As soon as you make that right turn on red, there's another light waiting there. Sometimes it's red. On the opposite side of that, in this picture, right here, as you're coming through, you make a right turn, there's not much space here, right here is another light. Sometimes it's red.
This was not, I think we all recognize that it was not properly
Right.
designed.
Yeah.
The difference would be is if this was a retail center, and it could have been a retail center, if Scotty's went down and they were able to put a few retail centers, what we've heard from the traffic engineer as well as our township engineer, planning board engineer, whatever his title is, that it would be worse. This is a less of a use. It maybe not be what we all want it to be, but it's a less of a use. Am I correct, Mr. Disco, of what, if there were individual retail shops there?
That's correct.
Yes.
I mean, it seems like an assumption is what that is.
Well, no, if you have to believe, if you had retail shops there, and I don't want to debate.
No.
Based upon my years of
Yeah.
being on the board, you would have more cars coming in and out because they would be visiting these retail shops, 3, 4, whatever might be there. This limits with more of a set, precise number that allows a traffic study to be done and say, look, I'm not saying this is the best that it could be, but you got 38 and how many exponentials of, visitors and so forth, at least it limits it as opposed to not knowing how many people will come per day. If there was a pizza shop there, hair cutting place and so forth.
Potentially. So there's also some of the numbers that were given. There's 38 units. It was 38 vehicles that was put into that equation. But there could be up to 60 vehicles. And if it's a couple, I mean, I know most people have, more than one car. If we're talking about a place that's going to allow pets, and we have 13 to 15 feet of sidewalk, we have benches, we have people 55 and over who start to use rollators, walkers, other types of ambulatory devices, wheelchairs, turning radius on any of those corners if you're taking your dog out for a walk. These are all considerations. I'm very concerned when I have to go to that intersection. Personally, I don't like it now. I feel like it's the Wild West on that intersection, especially when you're making rights. There's people flying through yellow lights. I never see any type of real enforcement. Once in a while, there's a Milburn police officer up by the T-Mobile, but aside from that, it's full go. And you have people, the gas station there. You have an oil change place. You have the Walgreens, the Dunkin' Donuts. It's just a lot of volume. And I would never want to, do anything or say anything that would, hurt the case of such a good, well thought out business. We need that in Springfield. I'm very happy that would be a beautiful site. I just wish there was more space. And if not, I think there needs to be strong consideration for the safety of the people in the neighborhood, but also for the residents who are going to be taking up residency there. Again, I know it was brought up, their age, and sometimes there's it's a pretty aggressive area to have a big box there you're coming down Baltusrol Way, you make that right turn, there's poor visibility after you make that right. And as soon as you make that right, there's people either making rights or lefts out of Crescent. And then a little further up from there, there's going to be a big box, and that's going to be creating space for people to pull in and out. And at the same time, cars from at least 3 directions coming and potentially making lefts off of Morris onto Baltusrol Way. I don't know. From what I heard tonight, I just don't feel strongly that the traffic issues have been addressed, and I think there needs to be a lot more consideration. I could potentially see this being a public safety issue. I personally would not want to walk on those sidewalks. There's not much space. And I would have a lot of concern for the exact location of the gateway where the sign is and where people will be entering and in and out. I know that that is completely exposed to all of this traffic coming in all these different directions. You know, and I would just worry crossing over there, you know, with the increase in volume, you know, and with strong consideration to the residents who would be moving in.
Okay, well, thank you for your comments. Mr. Disco, the sidewalks, I know we went through this, it would have been in your review. The sidewalks are all the size requirement by the state and by.
Yeah, all the sidewalks ringing the property are going to be new.
Yeah.
They're wider than your average residential sidewalk, which is 4 feet.
In terms of, just point out, the right-of-way of Baltusrol Way is 50 feet. The partway is about 29, let's say 30, worst case, widest. You still have 10 feet of right-of-way that no buildings in, plus the articulation and the setbacks further. You heard Mr. Lonzafama and Ms. Fox say 13, 14 feet from curb to building along Baltusrol Way. So most of that's going to be sidewalk. Certainly the whole corner is going to be sidewalk.
So like in front of my house, it's 4 feet. This is more than double.
More than double at the corner. And the whole frontage along Morris Avenue is new sidewalk, which, if you look at the condition of that sidewalk, I mean, you could trip 1,000 times just going across the frontage. So, okay. Look, we're not building brand new here, a whole intersection. Unfortunately, we have to live with the intersection. What we've tried to do is make this as safe as possible by keeping the driveway furthest away, which benefits the existing condition. You've also picked a use, it's a permitted use, that the zoning and the township committee have enumerated. It's about the least traffic generating use you could put there, is in over 55 residential property.
But if it was kept the Scotty zone, and it wasn't rezoned to residential, it would be, you could have a Dunkin' Donuts there, you can have Starbucks there, you could have.
GC zone, you could have had any retail, you could have had anything. It's a 3/4 acre site, so you could get something. Again, I think Scotty's didn't really operate at their full capacity, certainly, I'll say post-COVID, I don't want to.
This is the least intense that we could have.
That's the point, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to close it to any more members of the public wish to speak on this application? Seeing none, I'm going to close it to the public and remand it back to the board for some comments and for councils to talk. So a couple things, we still don't know whether it's rentals versus not. I think one of the things that we talked about was putting, if the board acted favorably, that 45 days from the adoption of the resolution, you would have to enter into the RDA.
Right, we're in the midst of finalizing the RDA, yes, Chairman.
RDA, you're going to have to decide at that point in time, rentals versus not.
well-
We can't have it looming forever. I mean, I will tell you, I would imagine, from my perspective, I would much rather it be for sale, sale units, because that would more make it a more well-maintained, well-maintained site. But either which way, you're allowed.
Question, just throwing it out there. Isn't there, just with going the HOA, and I don't know a little bit at the beginning, isn't there a recommendation of capital that has to be on hand and stuff?
That's if they do an HOA, yes, yes.
HOA.
When it's an HOA, there will be a certain amount that they'll have to when they close, that they'll have to put in reserves and so forth. That's why it would be subject to the township attorney to review the documents. I still would want the planning board chair to. Oh, go ahead. I didn't even see who was there. Well, if I do, we're gonna have to open it back up to the public, so why don't you
yeah,
give
well,
us some information?
right.
Why don't you just speak to your attorney loudly?
Right, yeah.
The reason that we can't commit at this point is because we haven't done any marketing on whether or not it would be better to be rental, and I've built dozens of projects. I've built dozens of projects.
And talk to you.
Right, and at this point, we don't know because Milburn Avenue, it's still under review on how successful they're doing with their apartment rentals, because these are high-end apartments. So we would need to see that, and there's a really good chance that marketing-wise, in Springfield, a lot of seniors would like to maintain a residence in Springfield, that they have a home down the shore, they have a home in Florida, but they don't want to leave Springfield. It's a very desirable, as everybody knows in this room, community. So if that was the case, it would be better to go with a condo type of ownership, which is this, the ownership does have nothing to do with the use. It's the same amount of residential units, whether it's condo or rental. It's just hard without getting started and without doing any marketing to commit one way or the other. However, I've noted, and it's even part of the application, that we will comply if it is rental to COA units based on rental units, and if it does go for sale, we would comply to sales.
I'm just saying, I'm talking to the attorney, not you. I'm just saying, we can't leave that out forever. You know, there needs to be a time.
I would appreciate it if the time could be whatever the board would feel.
Well, it's not our board, it's the township committee that's the case. It's us that has to have since you didn't do an RDA, typically we would not typically hear this application before, or we may not rule on it until an RDA. Typically the RDA is done first.
Right.
Okay? Since you haven't done that, our condition of approval is that you must do that. I know the township committee is going to put something in there of that. So the question is, we're gonna put in that you have to enter an RDA by a certain period of time. So it's gonna lock you in, I'm just trying to.
I was under the impression that from my other buildings, that even residential rentals could be made a condo at any time. You could convert it at any time. So if we commit in 45 days, and to be safe, and we said, I just don't ever want to mislead a board. And we said at that time, we're leaning towards the rentals to comply to that, and then something happened a couple of months later, and it was switched to condos. I just don't want anybody to say he represented one thing and he did something different.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say 60 days from the date of resolution, you have to enter into RDA. You work it out with the township committee on that standpoint. I'll tell you, my preference as a board member would be for rentals, not for sale. I'd rather you sell condo, and this way, because it's just gonna be maintained better. There's a sense of ownership that all of them wanna make sure where they live looks great, okay?
And I think, sir, attorney, that there seems to be a real need for the condo versus rentals. So I'm kind of leaning towards that myself, that might.
So that's fine.
We're good for marketing.
As a condition of approval, you'll have to enter an RDA within 60 days. You work that out with the township committee. Memorialization, so.
I'll work that out with Mr. Tavares in terms of language.
Okay, so, any and all approvals, counties, DOT, all that stuff, everything that Mr. Disco said in his review and Gabe said in his review.
Harbor Consultants and Mr. Disco, yes, we will comply.
Okay. Okay, let me open up the board and see if there's anything else. The bus, you're gonna partner with the bid to see what you can do, look and feel.
Name the speech, name the street.
Yeah,
Named-
the street, the town, you go to the township committee, the township committee will give a few suggestions, but this way it'll be named, you'll follow a final plot, so that way hopefully it'll get picked up with the county, so it's on the street.
Right, Kaiser Way.
What?
No.
Yeah, sign tags and spaces, check with the tax assessor, if it's for sale, you'll need a lot and block, if it's not, it'll be one lot and block or whatever it is.
We will certainly work with township professionals.
Mr. Chairman, I think we need to put in the resolution, it's age restricted.
Oh, of course,
I have to be said.
that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Units are 55 and older no matter what way you go.
Understood.
That was the whole presence of presumption of approval.
That's never going to change.
Yeah. Resolution compliance, Mr. Disco brought up about what the look will feel to ensure that there'll be proper screenage of what the utilities on top of the roof look like. That was another one.
Correct.
Snow removal off the site, that will be there.
Yes.
That will also be in the homeowners association docs or the property management docs.
It will follow through.
And trash
Collection.
collection will not be any.
Mr. Korn got that.
7:30 in the morning, Mr. Disco?
To compliance with the township time, at 7:30 a.m., I think is more than reasonable.
Not before 7:30.
Not before 7:30, yes.
Anything, so let me pull the board, see if we missed anything. Ken? The lighting plan to, Mr. Disco, lighting plan and trees to do a site inspection when the site's up and running and anything.
Resolution compliance, Chair, yes.
Scott, anything?
So let's make the assumption, with my line of questioning, that these will be owned. Because I think my questions would be longer if they were rentals. But I think when we were talking, when we approved the rezone on this property, I don't know, it was a year ago or so, I believe you gave some feedback to the board about, they're not all.
He was incorrect. They all have to be 55. They're all have to
Yeah,
be 55.
They're all 55.
Yeah, so the master, there has to be deed restrict, they have to be all 55 and over. The question is, could someone, I believe, was someone under 55 be able to live there? That could be up to determination of the building.
So I guess some of that is there any contemplation towards how that gets enforced, assuming these are for sale?
Well, we would
say,
would have,
I think that's actually done by the town to decide whether people, the age of people. Just from my experience as a
We're-
people who live in 55-plus communities, some towns allow it to go younger, and some towns don't.
I don't know.
we're gonna, that's specifically included in the RDA.
Yeah, so we work in the RDA because if I'm 55 and I have a
Right.
30-year-old wife.
So that RDA is gonna live beyond this project.
Runs with the property. David?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
I don't think I have anything else to say.
Harris?
Just one question. This gentleman's concern over here about the traffic over there and the speeding and everything over there. I lived in town for years. I know how that traffic is over there. Has anybody given any concern to maybe putting bollards up along curb lines?
I don't think there was any thought process of doing that. I think, once again, I think as Ms. Fox indicated, that would, anytime you're entering that area, you'd have to get DOT approval, and I'm not sure that that's necessarily called for under the circumstances.
Mr. Disco?
DOT would not allow any fixed object if it's in the clear zone. We would have to confirm the distance of the clear zone, and that's based on the speed limit along the roadway.
Yeah, it is about 85 miles an hour.
The posted speed limit on the roadway.
Listen, if
But
there,
at some point, a car will go through that building.
stop.
Look, it happens
The
over
bar got
by-
struck many times.
It happens over by mozzarella factory.
Yeah, it happens by once, well,
Has a history of that, too.
if,
When Domes' building, you know, that's a
well,
long.
I would
ways down, a
imagine
little farther
if
down.
they see it happening,
But just know, as the owner,
chaos.
there is a very good chance that at some point that will happen, because we've seen it down Morris Avenue, we've seen it
So at the
over by
mozzarella,
where
it
mozzarella
it keeps on
factory is,
happening.
We've seen it all over town.
The reason why Scotty
It actually
had
happened at
bollards
that
on that
corner.
corner was because that building got hit at least twice.
yeah, so,
In fact, by mozzarella factory, they're gonna put
They
a
did it-
fence, they're gonna put
I know, it
a
just happened again.
net, and someone just went through it again to catch the cars there.
look, Mr. Disco, is it something, why don't we bring it up with the applicant to see if it's something that is possible, and if it's not, then we will leave it.
I don't think DOT is gonna permit that along Morris Avenue.
Okay.
And you could suggest a guide rail. A guide rail is not designed for a head-on.
Yeah.
It's for 40 miles an hour coming
side.
at an angle, so. Now, Waltersville Way, you have purview here, but is that what you're talking about? Bollards on Waltersville Way?
It's not gonna impact, because the speed's not gonna be there.
Okay, so seeing no more, you have everything in the resolution? Yep. Okay, so since we already mentioned everything, I'm not gonna regurgitate, so can I ask for a motion to approve the application with everything that's been subject? Obviously, the board's gonna be an opportunity to review the resolution before the next meeting. Our goal would be to adopt it on the March 19th. So can I have a motion to approve? Who's able to vote? Julie, oh wait, Julie, I didn't ask you, I'm so sorry. Any questions from you? I'm so sorry, yeah, okay, so seeing,
Yeah, we have 10 members present, 9 will vote.
9 will vote, so, okay. So seeing none, can I have a motion to approve the application with the conditions that we outlined?
So move.
Seconded? Wishna? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, hold on. Ms. Tamayo?
Yes.
Mr. Wishna? Yes. Mayor Laufer? No. Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yeah, just a second. Make sure your mic.
I support the project at the council level. I will continue to support it here. I do think that overall, the improvements to this corner and the look of the building continues down our mission of this township committee and local government of improving our downtown corridor. And I think for far too long, we had a former bar that at one point was a gateway and a staple of the community, but over the years, just wasn't pulling in enough customers to make it a viable and attractive site. Improving it with apartments, hey, might not be everybody's housing units, might not be everybody's desire, but I am concerned about Uber. I think we are not reacting quick enough to the technology, and that is certainly going to be, especially with 55 up, we're going to rely on that in all time. For that. 2, I want to see that bus stop improved. I hope that the wiser, as we build a nice new unit, that improving that will be recognized by all. And I do recognize the traffic is definitely a problem. We really should, I've brought this up at the township committee level from residents. The problem is that it is 2 towns control and make recommendations to the DOT, part of Milburn and us. And we've been, at times, the towns have gone, as far as I understand, police have gone back and forth at times trying to configure it. So it is a difficult situation, but it is something that, as more traffic continues to get used, and enforcement, unfortunately, because it kind of lies between both towns, isn't always the best. So I think it's something that we really do have to punt to the police and kind of come up with and see if DOT will allow signals for pedestrians, because 55 plus is going to use that for the train station. It's a desirable location. It's why you are building there, right? It's not lost on anybody. Mass transit is right up the street. And probably will be used. So if you're telling me, and we had testimony from a resident here, that crossing that is difficult, we really do have to wrap our heads around that and try to figure that out. With putting that stuff on the record, I will vote yes. And appreciate, lastly, the off-track improvement, which will go towards a dedicated dog park in our community. So thank you for recognizing that you are part of the community and improving it on the whole. So much appreciated.
Say yes. Mr. Barnett? Yay. Mr. Cedarquist?
Yay.
Mr. Korn? Yes. Vice Chair Laufer?
I've always been taught to err on the side of caution, And I do see a lot of issues. I see the good, I see the bad. I think the bad outweighs the good because of safety purposes, so I will have to vote no.
Chair Tiger.
So I have to add in two small conditions. One, which I think we agreed, the word apartments is stricken from anything going forward.
There shall be no mention of word apartment.
Okay, and then the second thing is, I would like in the lease agreement that, obviously, everyone will know their street address, that they use, whatever lease, purchase agreement, whatever, that they're advised that Uber to use their street address, not Morris Avenue, or they can put something in the agreement. So that way, at least it helps. Doesn't mean that it will, but at least it helps.
I agree, Chairman. Some rules and regulations internally for the residents there, regardless of how they are there. I believe that's appropriate condition of approval.
They will have a street address. They should use that for Uber. Hopefully that helps and mitigates concerns.
Agreed, Chairman.
I'll say yes as well.
The motion passes
Great.
7-2.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate everyone's time tonight.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, this is very long. We normally never have this. Wait. So any other members of the public wish to speak on any other things before this board? Seeing none, I'm going to close it, and then our next meeting will be March 9, 2026. Mr. Wishton is going to be giving us an environmental update. Very excited for that. Motion to adjourn, please?
Motion.
Okay, goodbye.
favor?